Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah,
So yeah, we might have had Sunday off for Easter, but we're not getting Monday off. We're back and we're still on track, rocking and rolling as we get ready for the Sim500 811.org Cup Series out in the Midwest off I-80. About an hour's west of the world's largest truck stop. You don't believe me? I've passed it. I can prove it. Well, verbally. I can't show you a photo. But I can show you Iowa Speedway, and that's where we are tonight. Newton, Iowa, virtually on iRacing. It is race number 7 of the Sim500 season as we get into the spring portion and we hit short track mania, if you will. After we got done with the Rock last week, that's actually the biggest track we will see until May. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But tonight, it's Iowa Speedway, just shy of a mile in Newton. 79 degrees, the usual track temp of, or I should say ambient temp, which is the iRacing default. Partly cloudy skies, 54% humidity, and the 2-mile-an-hour winds, and the laps, let me correct it, it's 175, not 160. It used to be 160. But either way, we're going to rock and roll this evening and have some great racing for you. I'm the captain, Chris Scala. Happy Easter, or as I like to say, Hoppy Easter, as I'm joined by Kevin England, who's fresh off wrecking on lap number 4 of an NIS race last night at Bristol. How's that rating now? But anyways, hey, Iowa Speedway, it's a fun track.
Yeah, for me, this track is like Chicago, Richmond, Kansas, but it's nothing like any of those because it has its own characteristics. Hey, everybody, welcome into Iowa. Looking forward to 175 laps of fender bending action. That's what we're going to see here tonight, Chris.
Yes, as cars will start to go on track here for qualifying, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to see. Let's start with the race information, if I can remember where everything is. 175 laps, as I mentioned, 3 sets of tires, 100% fuel, and I even checked in with a couple drivers. They told me, hey, yep, it should be somewhere around 100 laps on a tank of fuel. So that is going to play a role, I think, this afternoon, or afternoon on track, evening here in the booth. But that's something we'll have to keep an eye on when this is all said and done, because that would mean it would be a one-stop race, which then tells me somebody could be pulling a two-stopper maybe in this race. But that's definitely something to look at as Joe Hudson goes to the pole here as we've started qualifying. Let's take a look at our previous winners. Daniel Falkingham winning last season here. Tommy Ryan the season before. And that's it. Just those 2 races before this one tonight. The 3rd race at this track for the Cup Series. And, of course, the 2nd for the next-gen car. Kevin, in the beginning here of the You Know It's Below 811 Before You Dig poll. And look who just jumped up to the top. Arguably the driver of the week in this series. Wesley Donaldson to the top.
BB Diecast Camaro to the point here with Pedro and Joey right now running a fast time 3rd on the provisional.
As others run laps right now, Jatina up there to 4th. Tyler Dalton with a struggle tonight as he's going to try to complete lap number 2 right now. You see Comstock was in the purple there as he climbs up to 6th.
Glazer to the top.
Bentley Glazer 2389. Yep. That's now 9 drivers that have run under 24 seconds.
You get into the 8s here, you're moving, man. You've got it covered.
Yeah, because this track... Oh, Mike Kelly with an 89.
Ooh, an 89. Yes, 89
right.
flat.
So just to explain, basically, with the estimation of time here, according to my timing and scoring on the SDK, Mike Kelly ran a 89 and probably ran a 4 or lower in the thousands. Bentley Glazier probably ran a 6 or higher, because it's saying that Glazier ran a 2390 on my screen. So they're both 89s. It's literally a thousandth or couple difference in that lap, basically, as Tyler's continuing to run practice laps out there, which you're able to do as long as you don't tow. Hey, Funky Cole Medina out here on track in the 24. Not really, it's Jose.
You see some of these guys, they're just testing because they're still trying to find a handle.
Brian Macklin, yeah. Brian Macklin has put it in the inside wall off turn 4. That says backup car.
Last chance to test your pit entry and some of the other things. But some of these guys I was listening to the radio, they're still hunting different tweaks to the settings.
Well, that, and you got a track that's got multiple degrees of banking. So it's got the progressive banking bottom to top. It's got multiple lanes you can run. You're going to see cars all over the place. I think the only groove that, well, I won't say the word purposely, or I will say the word purposely, won't be used tonight, is the top of 1 and 2. And that's only because you see that little shadow as you're looking from the top here on the blimp view. The shadow up here in turn 1 and 2, that's the tunnel. That's where the big bump is that you have to go over in turn 1 and 2. And you'll see these cars porpoising tonight. But I got to be honest, this is the first time, Kevin, I've seen this next-gen car on this track. So what is there anything you've noticed, anything you've been able to see during this practice or maybe experienced in the past from this car at this track that we're going to look forward to tonight?
To me, this car feels pretty snug on this racetrack. You can drive it in and try to find your mark. The other thing with this racetrack, if you let the car go in and it doesn't take a set properly, you can run up to that middle groove and still carry a lot of speed off. So from that standpoint, it's a little bit forgiving, but it can break loose off of turn 2 through those bumps, just like last week where we saw the cars porpoising in the corners when we ran Rockingham. This racetrack has a little of that characteristic over there in turns 1 and 2, so you got to be mindful, be up on the wheel.
And speaking of mindful and up on the wheel, guess what? He's about to get his 3rd pole of the season. 811 Before You Dig Pole Award winner. An 811 driver, Mike Kelly, man. Nice job. Great lap. Can you do it for 175 more?
I don't know. We were just laughing about this pole thing and how bad I finish when I get the pole. But no, it's great for NC811. I think there's been an NC811 sponsored car on just about every pole. So that's awesome. And it's great that I can do that for them, and glad that them and Trans Service are on the car. And it's one of my favorite tracks, but this setup's a handful, so I'm not sure what this race is going to hold. I'm looking forward to a good one, though.
Yeah, with the character of this track, what are you fighting with? Is it loose off? Is it loose all over? What are you fighting?
It's just got that same kind of feeling where after you get 10, 15 laps in, it loses. The rear end just unlocks. Front end turns great. It's got all the grip to turn you want, but it's hard to keep the rear end down, and you have to take care of it. And I've been messing around with some different things just to try to get the wear more even from front to rear. But right now, getting a lot more wear in the right rear than the right front. And I think there's some brake heat, and trying to get the brake bias. I think I get the brake bias right and those master cylinders just right. It's going to help a lot. And
of course, the transitions here are very tricky with the progressive banking. So hey, best of luck tonight. You're the pole sitter. Go get them tonight.
Yeah, definitely. How your car's working and which you got to stay in your lane, so to speak, and have your car where it handles the best and pick the best banking for you.
Absolutely, my man. Well, good luck tonight, and congrats on pole number 3 of the season.
Appreciate it. You guys have a great broadcast.
You too, buddy. As Mike Kelly, the pole sitter tonight, of course, presented by the North Carolina 811. It took me all of a season and a half to figure this out, but a pole award presented by 811. Don't ask why it just clicked finally, but electric pole.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Anyways.
Oh,
Let's turn one heroes, guys.
Yes. Let's move Mike down here. He's yelling at me already. Stop yelling, Mike.
I'm not yelling.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on, man.
Sorry.
so coming into points-wise, Mike Kelly third right now and having a great season. He signaled some business here, Chris, as he's been strong every week. Occasionally, he kind of fades from the scene and then emerges at the end of the season. But so far this year, he's been racking off quite a few good runs with 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and a win already on the season. And here he is knocking down another pole. And one of the best ways to get additional wins, start up front every week.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely how you do it. You see the point standings up, as Kevin mentioned. Chad Coleman leads by 19 over Pedro Mojica. And then there is Mike Kelly right there in the third position. And hang on a second, because some reason there we go. I was gonna say I knew I had more than that. Let me slide it out a little bit more. Tyler Dalton, 43, back in third. Joe Hudson, Richard Beasley are top 5 all the way down to 25. Of course, 20 cars go to the playoffs, and Bob Gillenwater, who I think is AFK again, must have not set his alarm clock tonight, but he is 20th right now and on the bubble in points as we get one to go this time by. And I think it's going to be very key to get this race into a rhythm here early. Obviously, you've got cars that are going to be around each other. They're going to be very free, as Mike talked about. And I think this track is going to be challenging. As I pull up the weather as of right now, it is 122 down on the track. And as we know in Iowa during the summer, it gets hot.
Yeah, it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon sim time, and it was 110, 115 in practice, and the temp is going up as the afternoon wears on in the sim, so that's going to make it even slicker for these guys as the race moves on.
As they come off turn number 4, as I mentioned, 175 laps of racing tonight at the Iowa Speedway. Sit back, enjoy your Monday night as we're back racing Sim500 from the Midwest. I'm outside cornfields.
Iowa. I'm sorry, I had to do that. It just keeps running through my head since we came in here tonight. Mike Kelly leads him down the backstretch into turn 3 for the first time. No challenge for the lead. He's got Wesley Donaldson, who ran some fast times in practice, right there behind him. Here comes the charge on the high side. It's going to be Bentley Glazer taking over second, right in the tire tracks of Kelly as they head to turn 1 for the second time.
And of course, our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online or on Facebook, and they are on the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. Brian Workman started the race in the pit, so he's going to be a lap down, if not 2, by the time he gets out of pit road. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, as Kelly already stretching out to about 1 or 2/10 of a second. Donaldson right there in third. The battle's back here with Jatina and Comstock and Tyler Dalton, Mojica, these guys back here.
I really feel like, even though Mike said it was a handful, that these guys are going to run nonstop through this race. I don't know if I want to do that broadcast or jinx, but this is the type of racetrack where you can find your groove, you pull up to the car next to you, you work on it for a little bit, and you can make your way around. They tend to be a little politer here, if I can say that. Chris, I don't know why I feel that way, but let's see how this plays out and see if that perspective is right. What a qualifying run and a top 4 run right here early on for the boss man. Good run for Joey Jatina to start this out.
Yeah, you would think this would be right up his alley, of course, that ARCA history and obviously short track racing, that kind of thing. But yeah, good start for him. He must have found something pretty good in the field category as he runs there in this 4th position. But, one thing I think that plays a role in all this is, 1, the comfort these guys have around each other. 2, this track is so wide, and again, you can run so many different grooves that you don't have to sit there on top of another. You're able to spread out a little bit here. As you see, we look back here at the 26 of Gonzalez, and I think that's the 44 of Glenn Campbell right there, the 17 of Kevin Stone. I mean, these guys are running to the bottom, to the middle, and eventually you're going to see these cars up at the top.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different grooves, and like I said, you can float the car in, wait till it takes a set, get it to turn and power through the center of the corner and get your good drive off.
Doug Roth off track here, front
Whoa.
straightaway. He goes spinning, but saves it, puts it back over on the Legends track, if you will, and keeps that STP car rolling through 1 and 2, so no caution.
Well, how about that? That was exciting. Didn't expect that very early like that.
Well, and you heard Mike talk about, and he got helped. Josh Parker.
Oh, there you go. Got a little ding.
Wow, and he hit that inside of the track where the Legends track is. That car went up in the air, but able to bring it back down and keep her rolling.
I have to believe he might have a penalty there as he drives sometimes down off that pit exit, get onto pit road, and Sim doesn't discriminate. It's just going to give you a penalty. So we'll see if he calls for a clear.
I don't think you will have to because he was actually outside the pit wall. Remember, there's a pit wall there. So
yes,
yeah, so I think he'll be okay.
Oh, that's true. You can run down that inner
Right.
road there with no.
At least we think you
Yep.
can.
Yep, you're correct.
Hey, Susan Ritchie watching tonight on the Facebook page. So is Ruth Gardner. Appreciate both of you. Appreciate all the viewers watching tonight on either the Captain Esports Network, the Facebook pages of the Captain, or Sim500. As the field starts to spread out a little bit here.
Jatina to third, looking for second, down underneath the 18M Glazers. They come off of turn 4. This is the type of racetrack where you have that big, wide, sweeping front stretch so you could really let the car roll up off the corner to the start-finish line.
Yeah, of course, this track opened up in 2009. It was a architecture job done by Rusty Wallace, and Rusty basically said, hey, I want this track to look like my favorite track. So, pop quiz. What track looks like this, Kevin?
You're going to have to say Richmond.
Ta-da! Rusty Wallace's favorite track.
Bling.
So,
I think his expectation was, though, that he changed the banking, he changed the way the corners came off, he made it a little tighter.
yeah, I think he did. Obviously,
Transitions were different.
No track is the same, as I say. And there's one other thing that this track has that no other track on iRacing has, and I'm not sure many tracks in America have right now because, let's face it, there hasn't been many new tracks in America lately. I know they're building one in Idaho right now. But, Kevin, if you look on the outside wall, you'll notice there is no outside wall technically. It is all safer barrier around the track.
This is the track where it was developed, is it not?
Indianapolis, I believe, is where it was developed. But Iowa was the first track when they were bringing it out that said, hey, obviously we just want to have it as our main walls. So they instituted it on the outside, and that's what you see here.
Yeah. I think as time wears on here, everybody's kind of settled in. One of the things we talked about is the fact that this could potentially lead to a long green flag run. Guys know that, so they're going to be conservative, take care of their tires, not charge the corners, not hammer down on exit.
Hold on, Nelson. Very easy to do at this track what he just did. You got a car to your outside, and you want to crank that wheel to try to keep it low, and that back end will try to spin around on you when the front end grips. But you see the 6 of Montesi, as we ride on board with Nelson, watch him. He's going up to the top already. You see some cars migrating their way up above that third groove, which is that Stenzel that just got loose there on the bottom. That top groove is the way to get around turn 3 and 4 at this track.
We'll just have to see. And as I don't remember which track it was recently where the cars were loose on throttle coming up off the corner. So if there's going to be potential for mayhem, see somebody like Joe Hudson just wiggled that car over there in turn 2, got down to the apron and kind of collected him, pushed him back out on the racetrack. So don't get me wrong, these are evil sometimes to drive, but we got one around on the front stretch.
EJ O'Rourke.
Well, how about that?
The personal comfort car brings out the first caution, I think, for the second straight week.
Yeah, just got loose coming up off the corner. The car stepped out from him and
The transition
snapped back around for him.
Well, here he is. He's sitting right on. You know what? That car de-wedged on him. This is one. Oh, nice miss by Ferrari. This is one of those tracks, just like off the top of my head here, Kansas, Vegas. Again, progressive banking.
Homestead, yeah.
Homestead, thank you. Let's watch closely here, because look where he's running going into 3 and 4. is left side tires are on less banking than the right side tires. And how do you know that? Look at that, where the lines are. You can see that seam. That's the banking transition. That's going to cause the car to de-wedge. It's like trying to put the car on the apron when you're on banking. Doesn't work. And guess what? EJ goes around. So that's something you got to be... This is one of those tracks. You got to pick one or the other. You can't straddle. I mean, if you're tight, you can do it. But I have a feeling with the weather, the way it is tonight, you got to pick a lane and stay in it. I mean, you can try to cross it over, but be aware your car's going to get free.
Yeah, a couple drivers heading to pit road, but I can't anticipate anybody's going to waste a set of tires at this juncture here. Doug Sigmund drops in. The 41's going to go in. He might change tires. Charles Van Schaken topping off for fuel. This is probably a good call if you're out in the back, is to get the car full of fuel and see if that long green flag run plays into your strategy play later.
EJ did not take tires. Brian Wortman's going to get the wave around here, and I kind of like that EJ didn't. Yeah, he might. I still go back and forth that if there is an actual flat spots in this sim. I've heard yes, I've heard no. I don't know. But there will be some wear on that. A couple of notes real quick just to clean up. Tommy Ryan did not start the race. So you see him down in 37th on the standing. Stoney Benfield has been on pit road since lap 10, so not sure what's going on with the 75 car. We'll try to get an update on that situation. Hey, while we're under caution real quick, let's take a quick break here and let's hear from our sponsors, 811.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on NC811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are here at Iowa. First caution out, lap number 20. EJ Rourke going for a spin over in turn 4. And, yeah. Should mention that Stoney Benfield has gotten back on track. Yeah, unfortunately for him, he's going to be 9 laps down, it looks like, here, as we still got the lights on this pace car. And again, thoughts and prayers to everybody out there who has suffered from these storms that have been coming through. I think of Mississippi, I think of Indiana, I think of Arkansas, the Little Rock area. A lot of storms affecting areas, and I'm sure there's some I'm missing, and I'm sorry if I am, but just a reminder with these storms, when they come through, call before you dig. Do not get around power lines. Don't do anything like that. Be safe. Stay indoors or wherever you can. Do not go out and start meandering or wandering around or any kind of other term that could be of movement. So, appreciate 811 for being a part of the series. They're actually going to sponsor Friday night's Xfinity race in NASCAR. And I noticed they've been on Josh Williams' car a couple times. Stopped or not.
Stopped or not. Martinsville, that should be a fun endeavor. Been to the racetrack a couple times. What an awesome place to run a race. And I know a lot of people are not very kind at driving the place, but I think it's a lot of fun. I think that place is a blast, and the racing is amazing.
I have not been there yet. I have not had the chance to do the $2 hot dog, but I'm sure one day with the new job I will be eventually there, hopefully, but we'll see. So pace car lights are off. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say don't look now, but Tyler Dalton has made his way up into the top 5, sitting there in 4th. And I don't know if it shows here, but something about this particular setup for these cars on this racetrack, it has a bit of a skew. The car goes down like a little crab walk. Did you notice that?
Ah, so maybe a little bit of skew, as you mentioned, or the
left rear is jutting out.
Yeah, interesting. As we go back green here, Mike Kelly leads them. Tyler Dalton maybe trying to Mike Kelly strategy here. You know, Tyler gets all those poles and runs good laps. Maybe this time he's like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't start on a pole and maybe I'll run well.
Up on the high side, Joey Jatina driving down in. He's going to fill that 3rd spot. Here comes Donaldson underneath Dalton. They're going to be side by side as the front 3 straighten out single file. Down on the bottom, man, talk about painting the yellow line. Pedro Mojica, the Trans-Service Camaro, coming up here to challenge Dalton. He's pushing Donaldson underneath Joey Jattina, and he's a bottom feeder right now. That car bouncing through the bumps over in the tunnel. He's going to go for more. He's coming to third right now, and he's going to take it on the entry to turn 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened last time right here in 3 and 4. Something happened to Jattina. Not sure if he got loose or tight, but Wesley got a super run off turn 4, especially with the help from Mojica. As 3 wide near the back of your run, Holyfield had some issues that looked like off turn 4 and is off the pace. I saw him slide down the grid like my daughter was going down slides yesterday at a park. As we move to 6th position here on board, Tyler Dalton, you mentioned him. Scott Simley, who has had a fantastic last couple of weeks. He's got that Heineken car. Ooh, a little dancy in turn 1 there.
Oh, big wiggle for the 44 of
Campbell.
Glenn Campbell. He had to jump out of the gas, get on the brake, and keep that car from heading north to the fence there out of turn 2.
Speaking of north towards the fence, Jimmy Coleman. I thought you was heading to Des Moines there for a second.
Well, these cars are in yaw coming up off of turn 4 sometimes. Just saw Mike Montesi's car jump out. Now he goes to the high side.
Oh, 4 wide up here in the front of us is, looks like Jattina is having all types of issues fighting this car right now. He had Simley to his inside, but here comes Coleman, Doy Woods. They're 3 wide, 3 rows deep here. Look out, boys. Yeah, that's a little rise in the octave.
I have to wonder if Joey rode the car a little too hard out there on the outset, and now he's paying the price for some worn tires, or either that, or he's just trying to conserve, thinking there's going to be a long run and let these boys race it out as Brian Macklin slicks underneath. And where did Josh Parker come from, man? Running 17th right now.
Oh,
He's
Robert
already
Fer-
cut his way halfway through the field.
Sorry, Kevin. Robert Frary spun over here in the back straightaway into the inside wall. No caution.
No caution. Down off the racetrack.
My guess is he either got the outside wall, which spun him to the inside wall, or got helped. It's usually one of the two at this track. I'm going to go with A. Let's see if I'm right here. Got Randy Oakham to his outside as A really starting to become B really quickly here. No, Yoakum.
Oh, yeah.
Yoakum clear. Oh, yep, he got beat. Yoakum got loose off the corner, and they both actually hit the inside wall.
Yeah, Yoakum glancing below his left front's going to be a little bit of a
Brian
damage.
Macklin off track, turn 2.
Oh, wow.
He didn't hit anything, no. So, you know what it is? This transition. These transitions are very, very tricky coming off these corners because the way that right there, you see Doug Roth getting loose right next to Macklin. It's just the way the sudden change of banking, it makes the car light on its feet, as a certain commentator likes to say a lot. Clip Warrior.
Yeah, Macklin got a little help from Kevin DeBrown, who had the 38 step out in front of him. That's a 3-car tussle there that ended up with Macklin going around here. And fortunately for him, he didn't hit anything, but he's got to make those tires angry.
Lead change. As O'Rourke comes to pit road, unscheduled pit stop there, and Pedro Mojica goes to the front, which I'm sure is scheduled. And one car, O'Rourke missed the pits.
Easy to do here. You almost have to hammer on the brakes going into turn 3 to make this pit road.
You know what? Let me correct myself here. He actually spun. He didn't go to pit road. He had a lazy
He's probably
spin.
trying to get down there.
No, because he spun himself around 360. He is not comfortable right now.
Joey Chitwood down there. This is Pedro's kind of racetrack. Just let me go, give me green flag laps, let me run. I will 0.2 of a second you every single lap until I have half a track lead over the field.
What he does. Brian Wortman to pit road, I think. I don't know if I can trust this pit road entry anymore and saying, hey, he's on pit road. See, it now says, yeah, Brian's in pits. Okay.
This is a David Comstock kind of race. One of these ones that goes for a long run. I would expect to see him somewhere in the top 3. Also, If Jose's got a good car underneath him, Jose Gonzalez, another driver known for long green flag run prowess.
O'Rourke's off again over in turn 4. Now the caution is out. And this is for Joe Hudson, actually.
Is this one of those shake your head moments? What the heck is going on?
I'm looking at your comment and realizing how you're third personing yourself here.
I am?
Yeah, you said Kevin England, Joey Chitwood, LOL, dating yourself. Like you dated yourself.
Oh, no, that wasn't me.
Well, did somebody else named Keith? Oh, Keith. Oh, never mind.
That's my twin.
Oh.
My twin is watching our show here, apparently.
Oh, so there's a lot of issues here. Is there
Yeah,
oil on the track?
Just stepped out, really. Just nothing more than the car broke loose. He caught it back on the apron.
Well, I think there was more than that, because there goes O'Rourke on the inside spinning again, as we saw.
This is where you take one of those moments and you say, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, Joe just loses the back end, but he's not the only one. 2 other cars in front of him got loose. I have to take a note that these tires really fall off the map.
We didn't see this in practice, did we? Or maybe it just wasn't as evident in practice when they're running to the edge of no return.
I saw spins, but I don't know about this.
Well, Mike Kelly said it was a handful, and he was not fibbing.
So Campbell, looks like a lot of people, Jatina, Kevin DeBrown, Coleman, Van Schaik, about 22nd on down have come to pit road here.
And we do see drivers who took 4. So lap 37, breaking this race into parts. Some of these guys say, I want tires. I think one of the things you find, Chris, is that they might have abused the tires on this first run, and they promise on their firstborn that they will run better in the second one to elongate the tire wear for themselves, but they were so dodgy after running too hard from the get-go that they had to pay the piper here, and they put on 4 fresh tires.
So I've learned something watching EJ spit over here in turn 4. And it's an interesting, we could put it in the glitch category. But everybody, let's watch him as he comes back through the grass here. He's going to back up right here. And notice as he comes forward, this speed bump.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of the grass.
Who knew?
Who put that there?
Why wouldn't he just drive down the pavement there? Why'd he go back out on the grass? I only know that from experience. I've spun out here and just said, I'm going to drive down the drag strip. That's what I call that strip. Can we name it after me or something?
The England Empire.
Yeah, that's like my racetrack down there.
There you go.
Custom made for me.
Why don't you go to Sonoma and actually run the drag strip?
Sure. Tony Stewart?
No, you can actually run the drag strip in iRacing.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I have seen that.
Jatina back on pit road here, so not sure if he's probably barking orders to his team right now. But anyways, he's getting that car fixed up here, getting it topped off with fuel. Second caution here, lap 38.
So my brother says I'm dating myself with Joey Chitwood. Do you know who Joey Chitwood is?
Isn't Joey Chitwood the hot dog eating guy?
He's the stunt driver from the 70s and 80s. We used to see him at Nazareth
Joey
Speedway.
Chestnut. Okay.
Yeah, he would come and jump the car through a hoop of fire and crash them and do all that stuff. It was a thrill show with cars, and they would do the ride on the ramp and drive down the front straightaway of the racetrack on 2 wheels. You ever see that? Like Chips in the old days? I am dating myself.
Yeah, Chips.
So I guess he's got a point there.
Yeah, that definitely.
But that was the Joey Chitwood thrill show.
Interesting, because 2 things here. One, it's Joey Chestnut, who's the hot dog eater. But 2, we'd have to. I need to look
like
this
a
up.
Country singer name.
I need to look at Mark Chestnut. But there's Joey Chitwood, the owner or former president of Daytona International Speedway.
Yes, I think it might be the same guy.
Okay.
Might be his second career or something like that. Something rings a bell. So yeah. But look up Joey Chitwood. Go look up a video for you nostalgia buffs that want to go back to the roots of racing. That was something that you would see through the 80s and 90s, if I remember correctly. And it was all over the United States. They would take that thrill show, and it was a blast to watch those guys. It was like rodeo cowboys with race cars.
As Mohica leads them back to the green, Mike Kelly, Bentley Glazier, Wesley Donaldson, David Comstock, your top 5. At lap number 40, we'll have to keep an eye on the guys who took tires for about 22nd on down in the grid here. They're going to want this race to go green for a little bit.
I'm watching one of them, Kevin DeBrown, come out of like 25th, and he's 3 wide all the way through. Oh, holy cow, that was close. Yeah, kamikaze move as yellow is out.
Caution back out.
Maybe for the 8.
Looks like
Not
the 8
sure
and the 15. Randy
Yeah, could
Oakham
be.
and Joe Hudson bringing out the caution here. Maybe some spins.
Yeah, it looks like that started with the 15. You were spot on there. Not sure if he had a little help, possibly. Yep, just broke free,
Yep.
collected the 10.
And Beasley gets Beast
Clobbered
top
by
5.
the 8. Yeah, that's a bummer. Good thing these cars are
Not too fragile.
very sturdy. Fragile. It's a major award.
I want to watch closely here. I want to see. I'm on the wrong car.
Was he on the seam?
I'm watching the seam
I think you're spot on there.
because I'm starting to sing "It Seems to Me." Anyway.
It seems.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
right at right
exact
on it.
same spot, yeah.
Door to 23 also in there.
There was a car in front of him that was a little wobbly there, too, as he was doing that.
You know why? This is gonna give me an opportunity. Let's bring somebody up here in the booth because I don't want to call him like the scientist of the league, but he's a pretty smart feller, or at least knows his stuff. So hey, let's bring Tyler Dalton up here real quick. Tyler, get a copy.
Gotcha.
All right, so 2 of the 3 cautions so far, as we're watching here, has been cars kind of straddling the seams in 3 and 4. Are you noticing that as affecting your car if you've done it at all or anything like that?
I don't think the seams are the problem. The problem is after about 10 laps, the tires turn to lava, and you basically lose all grip. So we're just trying to hang on. Everybody up here mostly is trying to baby it early on just to keep the right rear on it.
Is that where the major wear or the heat is coming in, is the right rear?
Oh yeah, I'm doing everything I can trying to wear the right front to balance it out, but the right rear is just getting worn to shreds, and it's getting it stupid loose on entry.
Do you run the bottom to maybe do that, or front brake bias? I mean, without going into secrets?
Honestly, I'm just trying to survive.
Fair enough. Hammers the line of the night. Survive. All right, Tyler, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Tyler Dalton. Probably going to hate me for talking to him, but...
My brother just reminded me that they do the thing where they spin down the straightaway and they open the car door and step out, the car slides to a stop.
I think in today's
You
world
ever
it's
see that?
called ghost riding the whip.
Yeah.
I see the stuff I remember is like the stuff that gosh, guy just passed away. Bruton Smith did at Charlotte Motor Speedway
Bruton
back
Smith,
in the day.
right. It's the same thing, the early predecessor of that, right?
You'd
What they
have-
used to do on the Charlotte front stretch.
He'd have guys getting shot out of cannons. He'd have let's see, what else would he do? He would have I think Evel Knievel or somebody would jump over school buses or something.
Yep, the school bus jump. That was classic.
You didn't think I knew that term, did you, Miles?
Well, so Tyler explains what's going on, right? The hot temperatures
So
in the
it's not-
racetrack.
There's, you know what, and he might not. I don't want to say I disagree with him because he's out there right now driving these lavas apparently. But I don't know. I've seen 2 cautions with a car just straddling the banking there. So who knows? He could be right, and it just be the right rear is just screaming on fire right now.
I am familiar with the feeling that they have where the car loses all security after 10 laps and you go in the corner the same way you go through any other time, and every once in a while just around it goes, and there's not much you could do but go along for the ride. Most of the time you stab the brake, turn the thing right, try to get it straightened out, slowed down, and you collect it and drive off, but sometimes it's just a handful.
Which at the same time, when this car was put out, and on iRacing, it's still not all the way there, but the Cup car in real life right now, if it goes sideways like that or goes into any kind of yaw, you're done. The car's spinning. There's no catching it
Yeah, it is complicated.
because there's no side force at all.
Well, we talked about similar tracks, Chicago, Kansas. Kansas is notorious for the description they have. When you come off a turn 4, the car just steps out, and it's no rhyme or reason off of the corner. It's really treacherous, and I'll trust that these guys have their hands full.
It's a Midwest
It's
thing.
interesting what he said, Chris, about trying to make the car drive in on the right-hand corner. You're going to drive the car in hard, step on the brake, and turn it hard, and that tends to use that right front tire and take the heat off the right rear. That's kind of what he was describing as Boone comes back out, and that's an art in itself, trying to drive that way.
Yeah, because they basically try to put all the heat in the right front and kind of take the pressure off of that right rear. As you see Kelly go right behind Mojica there. As you see track temp right-hand side of 116 smoldering degrees.
And you see right now, and the sim is showing a little cloud cover, so that maybe will help the situation some.
As we see
What a
Kelly.
difference inside the car when it's that way.
Kelly to the top side here, going to go for the lead. He's got the preferred lane if he can pitch Pedro down, and cautions back out.
Oh, he's on the wall.
Ron Holyfield up in the wall. There's one groove I said earlier not to go to. The outside of 1 and 2. And caution out for the 4th time here. So these guys are in a war with the Iowa Speedway apparently here.
I think somebody's going to take me
Oh!
out back to the shed or something here.
John Fowler got it all sideways in the corner,
yeah.
and Ron Holyfield just, he must have assumed he was going to hit the car, so he just threw himself on the wall to get his own damage.
Yeah, I said on the outset I thought we were going to run green all the way. I must have put the curse. The whammy. There was a little contact there. I'm not sure what precipitated that, but
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a highlight thing for it, so I got to back it up to do the old manual 1989 style here.
okay. So the Fowler car went in the corner, and I think the 96 turned down more than he thought he was going to. And in order to keep off of him, he just kind of turned the car down, and it got loose. See this cut right here? Just trying to stay off of him.
I see where Gerald's going into the corner low. He's got Roth to his outside, so he's going. They almost meet in the middle.
Yeah, as straight as John was going in the corner, there was no way the two of them were going to be able to keep their trajectory and not come together like that.
Agree 100%. And Ron Holyfield just.
Nice save there from Fowler, trying to hold on to the car.
It looks like EJ O'Rourke's going to get himself a lucky dog.
This is what I was talking about, is you just stab the brakes, lock it down, wait for the car to slow down, and then once you feel just a little bit of more grip, you turn out of it and drive through.
So this is actually helping the leaders with Pedro and these guys, because you're looking at, they said 100 laps on fuel, but right now at this pace, they ain't going to need to worry about that number. But being able to go as long as they have, I mean, the top 11 right now are on the same set of tires they started with. So these guys here can keep going and going and going like an Energizer battery bunny and actually get their tires later in the race.
Yep, I have to agree with you. That's going to be a huge advantage later.
Which they do have 3 sets, so it's not like they're, at a big disadvantage, the guys who pitted a little bit ago. These cautions are helping them. Yes, I did see the news on Cody Ware. I kind of work for a media company in racing. Just saying. Sometimes it just kind of passes the word. For those who don't know, he got arrested today for was it felony assault charges, I believe it is, which there's a lot of me feels bad about that thing. And the reason why I feel bad about it is because, not to go into a whole thing about it, but we got a second here. Cody Ware has come out in social media saying that he suffers from a mental illness. Me being one that was diagnosed with a mental illness himself a couple years ago when I had some issues in my life going on, not to get too personal there either. I kind of know what he's going through, and I'm curious. I mean, we'll never find out because it's part of confidentiality and stuff, but a part of me kind of thinks that something mentally was affecting his decision making in that deal. That's just a whole nother side story or whatever. So, Riley Herbst in that car? No. Cole Custer, if anybody. Cole Custer or maybe one of Rick Ware's guys like Garrett Smithley or somebody like that maybe will be in the car.
Give somebody an opportunity, make a good out of a bad, and here's hoping that Cody Ware
absolutely
that goes in a better direction than it is currently. It was nice of them to give a shot to Matt Crafton to drive the car, although they said his performance. I was listening to Eric Jones saying, he hit the pace car, that kind of performance out of Matt Crafton, which is a surprise because he ran such a good run in the truck race on dirt. But coming back to this track, let's see what these guys are going to do here. I still think about some of we saw the 93, for example, go get tires earlier, and he might just be riding right now, and we'll see some of these guys emerge, but how far will we get before we head to another caution?
Let's hope we can go a while here, if not have a caution the rest of the night, as Mojica brings him back to green here, lap 55. See if everybody kind of gets spread out. This series is really good at when they have a little bit of a caution spree, if you will, they get themselves straightened out. And, of course, I say that as the fifth caution comes out.
That one wasn't on me.
I didn't say they weren't wrecking again. I just said they got a good history of it. That's all I said. And I have no clue.
I do agree with you, right? They tend to get things cleaned up and settle in and be careful. And unfortunately...
I think somebody threw a sock on the track or something. I don't know what the caution is for. Oh, right here, Jatina gets turned by Yoakum. Just does a simple slide and straightens it back out. So Jatina probably saying some interesting words right now.
I bet, because I think he just changed tires, maybe.
I mean, Yoakum
I did see him on pit road, Joey.
You know what it is? Joey was going below the 48, and Randy had such a run and the momentum there and just got into him.
Yeah, Joey just went in for service. He didn't take tires that last go-around. I did see him on pit road and thought maybe he was getting a set, but he didn't.
Right. No, absolutely.
Now he needs one.
Yeah, right. I do want to throw one final thing out real quick on what we talked about. I am not saying what he did was right at all. So, yes, absolutely not cool. Not cool. All right.
Not cool at all.
Not cool. We move on. All right. So Mojica, Kelly, Glazier, Donaldson, and you know what? These cautions are probably not helping the guys with tires now. And I say that because these tires, it seems like at certain tracks, I don't even know if the science of heat cycling that you have on tires in real life can happen in a sim, but it almost feels like that. Because you all of a sudden feel like you don't have the speed, and these other cars are able to kind of run with you now.
Well, at minimum, those drivers who took tires early,
right,
and then had to stretch them, this is certainly going to help them out, right? At least they're going to get longevity out of this set.
That part, yes, that part is the good. The bad, though, is that new feel of the tires. Like, you're just going to blow the field off it's rails or whatever, is gone. You're probably not getting that now. Unfortunately. Hey, let's take a look at the next 5 weeks. By the way, remember earlier I said we are on a short track extravaganza? Look at the next 2 weeks after tonight. We go to Iowa tonight, Bristol next week, Martinsville the final week of April before Talladega. So we've got pretty much, Rock is a 1 mile track, which was last week, and now we go to this track, and it gets smaller every week. We go from this track to Bristol, which is a little over half mile, to a track that's a smidgen shorter than Martinsville. So hopefully everybody leaves their tempers at the door. And of course, with the off week yesterday for the Xfinity or the Grand National cars from Sim500, everything is back on track now. So Bristol will be for both series, Martinsville and wherever, obviously throughout, where I think it was for a couple of weeks there, we were kind of a week ahead or a week behind in one of the series. That's how they balance out the weeks off. So both series have had a week off now. We're back on schedule.
Yeah, what an eclectic mix there for racetracks, right? You got the high banks of Bristol, you got the flat track of Martinsville, you got the massive track of Talladega, biggest on the circuit. You go back to the high banks of Dover, 1 mile, where you drop down on the concrete down to the yellow line, and then you come back to a racetrack not too dissimilar from this one in the Midwest in Kansas, and that's going to make for an interesting mix. And I think we're going to see different drivers come through as their styles match whatever the racetrack is.
And basically what it is, the series matches are scheduled up with NASCAR. The difference is where you see a dirt race or a road course race, they put another oval in. So for instance, the Rock was basically in the Circuit of the Americas part of the schedule.
Yes.
So then you get Iowa. I think that was just kind of added in because you still got the Bristol dirt race here. Plus, Xfinity had a week off, I think, in here somewhere too. So that's where Iowa is able to be fit in. You go down into June after we get through this Texas, Talladega, Dover, Kansas spot on the schedule, which actually the Cup Series, I don't think, has Texas on the schedule at this point. Auto Club Speedway in June. That would be where Sonoma is.
Yeah, to be clear, the Bristol race is not on dirt, though,
No,
right?
No, it is on the concrete, I believe.
Yeah.
I think
it's a single pit track.
I would be very interested to see how these guys would do on dirt, considering there is a dirt series that runs in this league.
Yes.
Just not in these cars. Moika leads us to the green here. 61 laps in the books. Your brother wants us to throw the jelly, as we like to call it in racing, down on the track.
Yeah, okay. The jelly.
The PJ1 or the resin or the whatever else you want to call it.
PJ1, yeah. Just, you got to Gillen water these corners, right? He's the one that taught me how to just feather that throttle, keep an egg under the gas pedal, and
Don't tell Josh Parker that. He just
stop on the gas when you get to the straightaway, right, Bob? That's the way you got to run this.
Oh, Josh is now on the wall.
Woo!
That is not how you bob Gillen water, as you just said.
There's so much difficulty because sometimes you're going in turn 3, 4 drivers down underneath you, and you have no choice but to run the seam because that's the only racetrack available to you.
All right, Kevin DeBrown's proving me wrong right now. Here he comes on the 4 tires inside, and guess what? Caution is out. Oh, no. It might be EJ O'Rourke.
He's going to get voted off the island here.
Looks like Jose Gonzalez may be involved also.
It is EJ, single car spin. Just got down there on that yellow line in turns 1 and 2.
There we go. I was trying to get to the camera of it. Or did Jose just... Actually, Jose just said, I think he just said, dos amigos. He gone. All right, yeah. So EJ below Joe Hudson. 23 of Van Schaik there, and that Dr. Pepper no sugar. automobile. That thing was all out of shape going into the... And here come, you know what, a lot of the leaders now coming to pit road here.
Yeah, he was loose going in, and then once the car got to the, talk about D-wedge, it got to the apron, and there was no save. There was no way he was going to drive out of that.
Which these cars, you really don't need much brakes going into turn 1 and 2 until later on in the run. I mean, I wonder if he got to the brakes and just had maybe too much on the rear and it just zinged around. I don't know. But, you know, and he's not the first one I've seen get loose on entry either.
Well, one thing we've not talked about, Chris, is these drivers have some settings. Sometimes you choose a steering ratio and brake, and you can't get off of it. The steering ratio is not right when you drive the car. The car steers too fast, steers too slow. Can't catch up with it. You just guessed wrong. It is possible that could, I'm trying not to make, you know, excuses here, but you know, have you ever run a race where you had a great setup in practice, get to the race and forget to change your settings, and then when you go back in, you're like, what's wrong with this car? And you realize that you didn't load your set in.
And that's when you start cussing yourself out.
Yeah, and you end up with a night like EJ has, that the car just will not. It's evil.
Yeah, I've had that one plenty of times, but no, and it's good to be able to explain things like this because, you know, we have the viewers who, you know, might not have the experience of iRacing or whatever on here, but, you know, the couple of things in this car that you can adjust in a fixed setup series. So a fixed setup basically means all these guys have the same setup in their cars when it comes to the track. With that, you have the master cylinder that you can adjust, which is part of the braking, the steering ratio, and then you have your brake bias.
So how hard the brake presses on the actual calipers, and the brake ratio of power at the front brake versus the back brake. A lot of drivers mess with that front back ratio in order to help the car turn. When you put more brake in it,
Right.
it actually pulls the car left on the corner instead of you having to steer in and scrub the tires. So they mess with that. And, you know, again, if you load in and you don't get that right, you forget to set up your optimal setup, you end up running a compromised car the entire 175 laps. As Mike Kelly went in and changed tires here, he's going to be the lead one back there in 21st, but I think you hit it right on the head. The driver with the freshest tires that's been biding his time is Kevin DeBrown, and he's sitting there in second. I expect him to go for the tussle here and see if he can lead some laps.
Yeah, he has done a great job working his way up there, and now he's going to have that outside lane, so I would expect Pedro to get the jump here on the start, but I would not be surprised to see Kevin work around his outside here and probably take the lead very quickly here, as you still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 12 cars now that have not pitted for tires. Obviously, the freshest tires now are on Mike Kelly in 21st as we get ready to come to the green here.
We had to give every driver a can of Coke, have them pour it as they're driving around the racetrack like they used to do in the pits where they wanted to make the pit box sticky. Or is it Dr. Pepper? Which one would be your preference?
Yeah, I think that comes down to sponsor and stuff. Like, for instance, the 23 has the Dr. Pepper sponsorship. As we come back to green here, lap number 67, Mojica gets to jump as expected here, but let's see if Kevin just sails it off here into turn 1 and makes the pass. He actually might wait for Pedro to slide up here and go to the bottom. And there he goes. So I was wrong about the tires. I thought eventually they would even out a little bit, but no, he's definitely set sail. And the 93 goes to the front.
Yeah, lap 69, P1, Kevin DeBrown. He's going to pick it up after Pedro's led since lap 33. And I noticed, just for everybody's notebook that EJ pulled down on the front stretch, just let everybody ease by. Now he's running the back of the racetrack, just trying to find his groove, keep himself clean. So making a concerted effort to keep things straight. That's what you do, right? If your car's not handling, you just kind of baby the thing around. So you got the Brown out front, Mojica, Comstock, Montesi, and Wesley Donaldson, who's hung up there in the top 5 the entire race. Just kind of biding his time right now as you look at everybody. They're kind of 1, 2 wide all the way through. Some drivers preferring the top groove, some drivers preferring the bottom groove. Everybody kind of giving a lot of space. They got to be really careful because you got some new drivers. Yep. One loose on the backstretch, couple cars accordion make contact, but seems like everybody drives around it. They're still trying to figure out how to crash over there in turn 4. Everybody all over the place. Looks like bumper cars out there. Kelly's involved. Doy Woods was involved. Chad Coleman was bouncing off other cars.
You're not supposed to do that here.
No. When you have the Iron Man going crazy there, you know that they got their hands full.
He's probably screaming at his lungs right now in chat. Oh, man. And they're still 3 wide. Oh, 17. Oh, big wreck.
Oh,
Rivera
wow.
into the wall hard. So is Mike Kelly. Kevin Stone into Joey Jatina.
I'm going to tell you what that recipe was about. You had all those guys who had fresh tires out there in the back trying to make a little hay, get into the cars that had worn tires, and that's just a recipe for disaster. Man, what a crash that was.
Mike Kelly hit that wall a ton with his front end, so he's probably toast, unfortunately. We watch, yeah, you see the fresher tires kind of going up the middle there with Parker following Kelly, and Kevin Stone just gets loose. Rivera took the lick. John,
Yeah, from the bottom.
yeah, 48 also involved there of John Fowler. Once again, Mike Kelly on the pole. A rough result. Let's go back a lap here.
Randy Yoakum, he can't buy a break tonight. He's just been wrong place, wrong time all night long. He had a windshield full of Nelson Rivera there.
I mean, this is LA freeway type stuff back here. Should mention now, all the cars that have not pitted are coming to pit road now, it looks like. Here's where everybody scatters. Yeah.
You got to do a Randy Yoakum in-car view there.
I mean, look at 4 wide there off of 4. I mean, there's still 3, still 4. Yoakum's up there. Help. I need somebody. Help. Not just anybody. Yeah, Yoakum gets a bottom of the car full of the 22. And it appears that everybody has been checked and released from the infield care center, which is good.
Well, you know, this is one of those nights where you say sometimes the bear eats you.
Yeah?
Crazy. I would not want to be in the middle of this mix. Tell you that.
On board, Randy. Did my roof camera last?
Oh yeah.
Right in your living room.
There's certain moments in this sim where you do things like that and you go, wow. Even though you crash, you're like, that was cool.
So now there's 1 car left that is not pitted. And, well, it's the Fighting Baltimore Orioles car of Justin Mons. Now, unfortunately, I do not know any famous Baltimore players that wore the 49. But I know one who wore 8.
That would scare me to death being up there
Yeah,
with 78 laps on my tires.
agreed. So, hey, let's take a break here real quick. Let's hear from our sponsors from 811.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on NC811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are, just shy of halfway. 78 laps complete here in the Sim500 NC811.org Cup Series in the Iowa Speedway under our 7th caution. The track is definitely worn these guys out this evening. Kevin DeBrown leading this race as he's got the freshest tires of the bunch here in the front. Tyler Dalton did work his way up to 4th out of that whole deal, so he's got there's a whole bunch of strategies going on. We got people to pit at 36, people at 64, people at 75. So we're going to try to keep you up to date. But Kevin DeBrown, I guess you could technically say, has the second oldest tires in the top 2 now. Mons is not pitted yet. Then there's Tyler Dalton, who pitted at 64. Then you go back to 15th, where you got 75. Everybody's everywhere. Hello, Stroop TV. Welcome in of the Beasley Fan Club. Kevin England, of course, he's with Aaron Thomas. Forgot to sweet talk his car. I always call my car Nancy. What are you talking about? Green flag back out, lap 80. And there goes Dalton, top side with the tires. Ah, Campbell. Oh, Dalton scrubbed the wall a little bit there. Now we got trans service 3 wide. Top side is Mons. He is unfortunately going to free fall here. I'm very shocked that the tires have had that much effect. Now, I'm not saying that tires wouldn't, because Iowa does eat tires. But I thought eventually they would balance a little bit. This is what makes this track great. The multi-degrees of banking, the progressive banking, if you will, and of course the multiple strategies you can do. Simply just downshift. As we welcome Kevin back. Hello, buddy.
Hey. You know, what I think about when I took a moment to step away is there's a certain strategy now. You start to think, well, okay, this is how the race is playing out. This is the complexion of it. What do I do? You end up running your own race.
Right.
You run what's around you. You're looking at the car in front. You're looking in the rearview mirror, trying to make sure that you don't overcharge the corner. You're paying attention to your tires, all the while just trying to look way out in front of the windshield and anticipate, how can I move my way forward? It's a different style of racing, where before you would just run hard laps, try and get through the corner as fast as you can. Here, you're just looking for longevity and track position all the way through.
Yeah, and you're racing the track a little bit at this point, too, because you can only control certain things right now. Everybody's got control of their own car. As you saw Tyler Dalton take the lead, and the one thing I noticed is as soon as Tyler took the lead from Kevin DeBrown, he kind of parked the bus a little bit. And what I mean by that is now he's probably pacing himself off of the 93, knowing his tires are better than Kevin, so Kevin won't catch him. So he's trying to balance himself, but at the same time, here comes that 81 of Parker, so now Tyler is going to have to go. And as you see now, he puts the throttle back down.
I also think there's another thing in Tyler's headspace at this point is, as much as he's looking out the review, he would love to have that car out in the wind, right? The track position of having the downforce of being out front makes all the difference in the world. Look who's running top 5 here. How about Glenn Campbell running 5th right now in his Ford Mustang?
Campbell up to 5th. As to the outside comes Josh Parker for the lead. Parker, I believe, came in and got his second set of tires at that last caution. And Parker to the front. And I say second set because I believe he was on a set earlier. If not, then under that caution, I just can't remember the lap exactly when he sent it in the turn 2 and then through 3 and put it in the wall for a second. But either way, Parker to the front. So another lead change for the guy that likes to start last every week.
Yeah, lap 88. He comes to the point, 5th different leader tonight, as now the 44 just kind of rolls out of the throttles, dropping back. Couple drivers getting to him and rolling around. Pedro Mojica working his way back 4th, was in 9th last time as he comes to the stripe off of turn number 4, working the back bumper of the 30 of Brian Macklin, give him the 8th position. Now he's going to try and tuck underneath his some of these drivers up here. How about Doy Woods? We've not talked about him in a couple weeks, but having a strong run and knocking on a top 5 right.
We've been talking about Doy multiple times for the wrong reasons here the last couple weeks, but he's having a good run there in that Haviland 28 as Mojica slides into a hole that almost wasn't there. A couple other people we should mention right outside the top 10, a couple of cars that had issues early in this race. Actually, they've fallen a little bit. Doug Roth up to the 13th position, but E.J. O'Rourke is 14th. That man has spun more times than a top.
Yeah, once in a while you just kind of get something clicks, you figure it out, and then you drive forward, especially with new tires. See Bentley Glazer running right here outside the top 10. He was up front early, and we saw contact earlier. We talked about the durability of this car. How about Richard Beasley running 9th right now? He was against the front stretch wall just a few laps ago, and he ducks underneath and goes in and takes that position from Brian Macklin.
Yeah, great job.
Are
there.
they charging too hard right now, Chris, some of these guys?
I'm going to say no because, I mean, if these guys especially just pitted for that first set of tires, use them up now because you've got, what's it, 80 laps to go? Split the run in 40s. I mean, this is your chance now. You got 2 other sets of tires in the pits. Now, if you've used your second set here, you might have to be easy a little bit, but at the same time, they might not be going so hard. It could be that much of a speed difference with the older tires, but I think it's a great question.
Just saw E.J. O'Rourke. He's way up.
You're a lot of shape, huh?
Well, we've run 83 laps, but 36 of them have been cautioned, so they've only run about 48 or so green flag laps. So even these drivers with 30 laps on their tires, they still have relatively fresh. So we'll see how this goes as the run wears on.
So basically the top 4 right now have pitted at 64 or later. Pedro's the first one that pitted at 75. So he's actually got fresher feel goods than those 2 cars in front of him. Kevin DeBrown is doing a heck of a job running 5th right now on 60 lap tires. Because the next highest person up that pitted at 36 is Jimmy Coleman in the 11th position right now.
Yeah, and again, we have to think about Brown as on an alternative strategy, and sooner or later when yellow comes
Caution right now.
there you go.
Charles,
he might be able to duck in and get some fresh tires. Maybe trouble for the 23?
Yep, Van Schaik has gone around, spewed some Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar all over the place. Looks like turn 2 as Kevin gets a warning message.
Ba-ding.
You can't do that. He got finished off by the 24. He lost it, and then you can hear his car bottom out on the bump, and he had it kind of straightened out, and then the 24 is like, dude, let me just help you.
Pardon me, coming through.
It's one of those where he was loose, and the car behind you just kind of moved you out of the way and finished you off.
Well, in all defense to Medina, when the car is sideways in front of you, just what are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. There's more cars.
You're going to do that when you stomp on the brake, and wow, about half the field came in for this go around as tires the premium of the day.
Tyler Dalton, Doy Woods, Campbell, Coleman, Montesi, Macklin, Roth, Hudson, Mons, Van Schaik. A lot of people on pit road here.
To wonder if anybody's out of tires at this point, right? With some of these pit stops that they've made, hopefully they're
You would hope that
keeping their heads about them,
you'd hope that's a mistake, if so.
right? Free pass for Brian Wertman. He's 4 laps down at this juncture. See if he can get himself back to the lead lap after starting on pit road in a hole. You mentioned earlier about Stoney Benfield. He was on pit road for a period of time.
Yeah.
He's 8 laps down. But he did come back into the race at one point as he heads down pit road right now for some service.
There's Stoney in a 75 car running 33rd. So he's not last.
We saw Jose retire from the race.
That'll
If
be
I'm
a,
not mistaken, right? He's going to be scored 36.
It looks like Jose's still on track. The only ones off the track right now, Wertman, Benfield, Fowler, Rivera. I'm sorry, Benfield's back on track. He's just on pit road. And yeah, it looks like Jose Gonzalez because, well, he's still in the sim, but he's not moving on the track.
So if we said who was going to be in the top 10 at this stage of the race, Josh Parker, maybe not that much of a surprise. Pedro, he's been up front all night long. Scott Simley, he just keeps putting together consistent runs. Kevin DeBrown, I don't know if I'd have picked him, but tire strategy has parlayed very well for him. Richard Beasley, I don't know if it's just his type of track, but having a good run here in the top 5. So interesting mix of characters here in this top 10.
Now, I don't know if it's Stroop TV or Stroop TV or Strop TV, but I give them all 3 a pronunciation. But got the Beasley fan club watching here, pulling for that 10. Ever since he said that, Richard's gone in the front here. So that Tide Ride looking pretty smooth. And if I have to check and see if that might be the Tide Ride that ran this weekend on Haley's car, which might be one of the, pardon the pun, cleanest paint schemes I've ever seen.
Pretty cool, the Tide and the Gain paint schemes that they had for those cars on the dirt race. Of
Well,
course.
that and yeah, Joey Logano in a car wash truck on Saturday.
Right.
I mean, he had it all out there. It was the perfect time.
How about Robert Fryery III? Was he not sideways at one point?
Not only was he
Through the grass
sideways,
and all that, and he's running 9th right now.
he was backed into the wall sideways on
Yeah.
the back straightaway. Cautions do that though. You're able to get back into the race and get that car worked on. As long as you don't break something or smash up the car in a major way, you're good to go.
This goes to show every week could be Disneyland if you just put your head into it.
It's a small world.
It's a small.
All right, so every viewer of ours just cussed us out now
Because they're doing the same thing.
Yep.
What other song is there that you could sing that instantaneously everybody parrots it back to you?
When it comes to Disney World, there's a ton on my end because I got a 4-year-old that sings them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main one.
Could be Queen or...
Well, Queen, believe it or not, has 3 of the 9 top earworms, as the term is called, for songs stuck in your head of all time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I could think of one right now, but I'm trying not to.
As Parker goes to the lead here on the restart, Mojica, DeBrown, Glacier, and Simley, they were almost 3 wide here off turn 2. And now they are 3 wide in 3 and 4. Bentley Glacier trying to have a good run in that 18 car. Here's Wet. Oh, hold on, Richard.
Oh.
Bentley with a crossover move up
Not on
front here.
purpose, was it?
It might have been as Mojica tries to go to the front now. There goes the fresh tires to the front as Parker gets loose.
By the way, EJ is running in 10th position right.
How about that? And for those who haven't figured it out, by the way, Bohemian Rhapsody, we are the champions, and we will rock you. Those are the 3.
That's not one that I was thinking.
What was one you were thinking?
Da 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 da. Do you know the song?
No, off the top of my head.
Don't stop us now.
Oh, no.
Come on.
I know the song you talk about, but no, it wasn't on the list.
It should have been. Because now you're going to sing it the rest of the...
Nah, I don't want to stop at all. Look at this racing back here, mid-pack.
Well, there are some cars on the move, and I'm just amazed at how well they make that bottom work over there in 4.
And I think that's really on the fresh. Somebody smoking it up there. That's more the fresher tires, I think, that make the bottom work, because eventually I think you do have to migrate up the track.
It always felt like it killed the tires to me. You got to be a brave soul to go down the bottom in turn 1 and 2, but these guys are making quick time down there and look pretty steady right now, as you see Mike Montesi working his way in there in that chrome number 6 trans-service car.
It's all a matter of, as Dalton made him, who almost made some contact with Doy Woods up ahead there, it's all a matter of how much you turn the car. Because you got to remember, you're on the smallest banking of the track at that point, and you're also on the tightest radius. That's easy to say. So because of that, you got to roll the throttle. You cannot just kind of brake and go back to the gas like you can on most of this track. You got to let the car kind of roll through the corner and then ease back to the throttle, back into it off the bottom, because you're not going to have the momentum of speed coming off the bottom. That's why you see that topside carry, because of lesser radius around the corner. Don't have to turn the wheel as much, and you can carry the speed. And you got your brother over here singing Sweet Caroline. Good job.
Well, there you go. That's a good one. I think when you drive a car that's really loose up off the corner, you tend to do what Tyler told us earlier. You drive the car really hard down in the corner. You try to get it to rotate, and you just gently come up off the corner and let the car roll to the straightaway.
Right.
On it, but you know, we're starting to see now they're at that point where the tire temperatures are coming up. They all single filed out because the car's starting to get a little evil, and you see like Wesley Donaldson, just watched him wiggle up out of turn 4. So yeah, now the cars start to get a little evil, and they got to be careful as they roll up out of the corner.
And for the 0 of you that actually are keeping track, writing notes down in the race right now, outside of Kevin, there are 6 of the top 7 with fresh tires right now. And here comes 3 of them. Starting with Doy Woods, going to the front on Pedro Mojica. I'll let you figure out the one who's not on tires. As Doy's going to go by, Dalton's going to go by. Going to bring Brian Macklin, who's been all over this track, and I mean literally. He's been in the grass. He's been on the apron. He's been in the pits. He's been up high. He's been in the middle. He's been on down low. He's probably been through victory lane once.
How about Doy Woods? He came to play tonight, and he's to your point. You need a race to turn around, and every once in a while something just clicks, and you snap that finger, and man, the thing is a rocket tonight.
Yeah, 28 looking good right now. So is that 19 behind him. Glenn Campbell having a great run. Just took 4th from Pedro Mojica. Glenn's probably in his head right now like, we don't say that often.
Doug Roth currently running in 8th. We saw him before have his troubles in the STP Camaro, but good recovery for him.
Doug Roth having a very Eric Jones-like run.
Yes. Huge fan of Eric Jones. Think he's one of the most underrated guys.
I think you might, I don't want to be the one that starts any rumors here, but don't be surprised if that name gets mentioned for that 4 ride. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Dalton for the lead.
I was going to say, look at the complexion of the race. Some of these guys that kind of held their stuff, just kind of being careful. Now they're starting to make their way forward, picking and choosing their battles. Everything's kind of single filed out from what we could see.
Now Doy, how late he is back to the throttle there, gets a good run off the corner. You're going to see Tyler come back to the inside here, 3 and 4. Doy gets a little free there, fighting it, not terribly, just that one little slide mid-corner, but that might have been all he needed to lose the lead. Nope, Tyler's still there. He should be able to slide him here. He's going to send it in, see if he slides up the track here. Got some lap cars in front of him. There's that bump as the 11 jumps out of the way, and Tyler Dalton to the front.
Yeah, 5 laps is all Doy had right for Tyler to come back up as he's going to roll around the outside of 23 of Charles Van Schaik. And he sees nothing but clean air and clean racetrack out his windshield.
Yeah, last week we saw Tommy Ryan get his first win in a very long time in his series. It's tonight Tyler Dalton's turn to get that first win in a very long, at least I say very long time, I say on the Captain Esports broadcasted side of things. As a matter of fact, I can't remember off the top of my head ever announcing a Tyler Dalton win.
On a Monday night, it's been quite some time here. So you're looking at top 10 car. Randy Yoko goes across the line as the 19 is in the middle of the backstretch. So we talked about how everybody's spaced out.
Caution's out as Brian Macklin took second there. I was actually going to go find Tyler's last win. Somebody has spun over in the infield here, and I think it's Robert Frary.
77.
This one's on you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Robert. He needs a Miller Lite here.
Keith, to answer your question on that one, I think it's more they're scared. I mean, I don't know how else to put that. Keith basically saying, listening to the motor, he's surprised that they're on and off without a lot of feathering of the throttle. They were thinking with the balance, is what he's talking about. I'm thinking they're more scared to even touch the throttle because of just how the car has no side force.
I would say that Robert Fryery got cleaned out.
Uh-oh.
You get the meaning of that. Watch this. From the back bumper.
Oh, no! Was that Beasley behind him? I saw it. Yeah, it was.
Yes.
And more cars to pit road. We'll cover that here in a second.
Yeah, just got tagged coming up out of the corner. Now, sometimes you check up coming up out of the corner so you don't. We were talking about, right? Wait till you get to the straightaway for the throttle. And
are you saying
just have different pickup points?
Are you saying somebody's the bug here?
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying Keith's wrong.
You see how far back the 10 is? Just got a good run through the center of the corner and drive off.
Now, I'm not disagreeing with what Keith's saying at all. I can totally understand his point. I'm just more trying to put myself in their seat right now and thinking like they are. I'm pretty sure Robert's not going to be happy about that move. But check this out. A lot of cars on pit road here, as I mentioned. I saw... Let's see, Pedro Mojica, Justin Mons on pit road, Comstock, Donaldson, Stenzel, Coleman, Glazier, Simley, Stone, DeBrown, Parker, Beasley. So these guys here definitely are on their second set.
Yeah, I would venture to say at this juncture that some of them are on their third.
See, here's where I'm 50-50 on being second set of tires right here. And the reason why I say this, I've always been a fan of having a third set of tires to work with in the last 20 laps. Because I feel like if I put my third set of tires on with 40 to go, I have nothing to fall back on now. And I've always hated that feeling. I would much rather give up early in the race, the track position or whatever, if it means me having that set of tires at the end of a race. That's just me. A lot of people kind of get the feel of the race or whatever. And trust me, I've lost 99% more races than I've ever won. But... that's just me. It's just a comfortable feel. Pardon the pun again for personal comfort.
I could ride around the back all day long. Just give me a set of fresh tires with 10 to go, and I'll make something of that, right? That's what a lot of the logic is for these guys. They don't mind. And in this type of racetrack too, especially if you have fresh tires and everybody out front is on.
You know what?
Ward feel goods. You can make a lot of hay with the lines that are available to you here. So I'd imagine several of these drivers are keeping extra tires in their hip pocket waiting for a late caution, like 10 to go. That would be perfect.
I want to bring up Brian Macklin here for a second. Let's talk to Brian. Brian, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Just real quickly, I had a viewer ask this question. And I wanted to get somebody in the car. I decided it would be you to answer this. So basically, they're talking about on mid-corner. You're getting a lot of cars out here that don't seem to be feathering the throttle a lot. They're almost just letting the car roll through the corner and then ease into it more on the straightaway and getting back to it full throttle. Is that more of just no confidence in the rear grip at all?
I mean, this car is pretty loose if you're not careful with it, and I think it's also a product of how hot the track is. But yeah, I mean, if you stand on the gas, you're going to spin it around 100% of the time. So,
How's the racing been out there with the different tire strategy?
oh well, I'm on the wrong side of it right now, but
You were on the right side a minute ago.
yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, you got 55 or make that 53 laps to go, and hopefully you drink some water or something because I know it's hot out there. And after the race, we'll go get a shuck of corn.
There you go.
All right, buddy. Brian Macklin.
One question for you, real quick, Brian. When's the
hurry up, we're about
optimal
to go
time
green.
to get your last tires?
Yes.
Yes. Fair enough.
We'll get Brian. Thanks, man. Let's get Brian down to his aftermath championship then. That's the perfect answer. Yes.
Yes.
I honestly,
I don't want to give it away.
I was going to say, Kev, I don't know if he was going to give that answer away, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, here we go. Back to green. Tyler Dalton, I believe, is the leader on the inside lane there. Gets a little bit of a laid-back start there as Brian almost got the jump. As these guys are going to try to run. Freshest tires, Pedro Mojica, 9th position. You got around the back bumper of that Ford.
They're 3 wide down there in the backstretch going into turn 3. Now they're 4 wide over there.
Oh, dear.
Ooh, easy, boys.
Rip the mirror off. You don't want to look.
Well, so far, so good, right? A couple of guys just kind of eased out. You go on by. I'll just take my time out here on the...
I don't think Iowa has any 6-lane highways.
Yeah.
Parker sends it in there. Passes about 4 cars. Mojica up to 5th. Who was that we were on board with? Just had to blip it a little bit. I think that was Jeff Ryan.
I don't think there's any racetrack out there for Jeff Ryan and or Randy Yoakum.
Kevin,
There's
this...
no man's land.
Kevin, this is not Daytona as the 49
here
gets
we go.
loose. 91 goes around, cautions out. Bentley Glazier involved also. That actually ended up a lot prettier than it could have been. I was just saying to Kevin DeBrown, this is not Daytona, no pushing.
Wow, what a mess that was. The guy who got away cleanly was Chad Goldman after a couple bumps. You know, that's one of those situations, Chris, where everybody's going the same speed. One car gets sideways and everybody else kind of gets collected and they all slide through it. But unfortunately, when they're yawed out that much, it's going to draw a caution down there on the racetrack.
Let's watch this replay closely here. Watch the 93 behind Doug Roth. Oh, I hit the wrong button here.
Bunk.
He literally gives him a little bump draft down the front straightaway here.
Yeah, excuse me. You need to get out of the way.
Problem is, again, you're on the front straightaway on a curved track with worn tires with no grip. Ah.
Funk.
Then they go into the corner here, and I think Justin Mons is going to get loose up there in that.
I wonder if that little bit of a blink had something to do there. They lost track of a car.
Yeah, actually,
You see
netcode
that,
with
right?
Stenzel. Yeah, I did see Bentley blink out a little bit there, but some netcode with Stenzel, it looks like.
And then they all stack up behind this as he slides back up off of the apron. Watch the 38 come through and just kind of bump his way through. Little dink.
Yeah. I mean, that literally was just a chain reaction. And I mean, that was 5 cars hitting each other and not having any damage at all. So great job by all of them to, I don't want to
And
say
the cone is
manage.
still standing over there, Chris.
I don't want
See
to
that?
The cone did survive that.
Cone made it through. How many times did they get that cone stuck underneath the car? Because you can do that.
And it's not a good feeling, by the way.
No. You hear that grinding noise. I remember Tyler Dalton in a race trying for like 20 laps to get the car, you know, to get the cone out from the car. It was infuriating.
Tell you one thing. I'm going to go off topic here for a second. I'm looking over the some of the news that's coming out, or like just things that are happening. Can I just go ahead and put this out there that the new mayor of Chicago is not going to be a fan of the street race? Anyways, I'm just gonna say to the viewers right now, enjoy this 1 year of the street race. It's probably not coming back next year.
There's a lot of drivers railing against, while you're on the topic, do we need to be racing on dirt?
No.
The most vocal one was Kyle Larson, like, why are we racing on dirt? We have one of the best racetracks. But I have to say, in defense, and for what it's worth, that was one of the best dirt races they put together. They finally figured out how to get the surface race to running at night. It was actually a pretty entertaining race, I thought.
It had its goods, but this car does not belong on dirt. I hate to say it like that.
Don't
that
disagree.
sounds
If you got a windshield in it, you're kind of missing the point.
True. But no, I mean, here's the thing. And if you go to frontstretch.com, I'm going to promote the website for a second. Frontstretch.com, obviously the news stories and stuff that I wrote Saturday during the truck race and things, but you can also go over there and watch videos. And even after tonight's broadcast here, if you want to go over to YouTube and check out Front Stretch's interviews, Jonathan Davenport said last night in an interview after the race, it's more of a show than a race, which I kind of agree with. I think that first race was cool. The second, okay. And now the third one, all right, we're done. We've run our course with it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do agree on the track, though. The track was, as best as it was going to be probably this weekend. So, but, yeah, the funniest thing, by the way,
to the point where it slicks off to the point where it's black, it's asphalt.
Yeah,
I
pretty
know
much.
sideways, but
yeah, pretty much. You're driving on rubber at that point. The one thing I will point out, though, about the website, there's a really funny video. You can actually probably find it in the YouTube Shorts if you watch those little reels and stuff. I was the first one to catch it because the video I was doing videos last night for the race. So when people were sending me the videos after the interviews, I would edit them. And if you get a chance, go on YouTube and check out the video of the guy putting the microphone in Larson's face. It is funny as all get out because I can't even say on the air what Larson said. Like, the guy is trying to get his microphone in there, and he literally jabs him in the neck.
oh,
and
that's pretty
Larson
gross.
basically said, "Get the bleeping thing out of my face." It's pretty funny.
So
Anyway,
there's a key milestone that just happened here, Chris, is we're inside 50 to go.
what we got?
And whatever happened before that gets erased in the driver's mind, get to that it's 50 to go mentality. This race is almost over.
Which could be interesting as restart happens. Macklin goes to the bottom, leaves the door open for Mojica, who just takes the gold pretty much and goes to the top. And he has those tires.
Now we're going to find out who's got speed.
As Macklin takes Parker all the way to the top. Hold on, boys. This is going to get tight. Got some rubbing back there between, I think that was Stenzel. It might have been O'Rourke. It was one of those personal comfort cars in the 49.
Yeah, some of these guys with new tires are going to feel a little bit of a Atlanta Brave kind of thing, right? Because they're going to be so fast at this juncture of the race, and they're going to want to take that
All right, you
fresh
left.
tire mentality.
Parker just got loose as he tries to get to the bottom of Mojica. If you're going to throw an Atlanta Braves reference in there, then you pretty much just said that person's not going to win the race. Because we know how the Braves are. They win a lot of division titles and don't win World Series much. They win, 2 out of, 20? 4 wide into 3.
4 wide, yeah. How about Scott Stenzel, man? He's one of those cars that's on the charge. Boy, that car is just hooked up. He drives down underneath Jimmy Coleman. Powers to that position is going to take it over. Come across the line at 9th. Enter him into the top 10. And don't forget the Charger, Doy Woods, running back there in 8th. I don't know.
Your top,
Where did Kevin DeBrown come from? The
He's on those
strategy
tires.
for his tires, they're
It's the
coming.
tires.
Right?
Top,
He was,
yeah. Top
Yeah.
4. Top 4 are all on 118. Tyler Dalton at 96, and then Richard Beasley's on 118. So, and trouble! Into the wall goes Jimmy
Oh.
Coleman. Scott Simley gets his nose ripped off, then gets T-bone staked by. You slow down, boys.
debris rolling across the track. You don't see that very.
Somebody see my front bumper?
Wow. Well, I told you, inside 50 to go. It's milestone, right? Everybody is ready to.
Let's see
They're
how.
going to take every inch of racetrack they can get.
Hey, let's roll that beautiful bean footage. Not beautiful for a lot of people here. Oh!
Ow. I don't know. Did they lose track of the 28 down there?
Doy busted a. Let me look at it before I say Doy busted a beer bottle here, but
Busted a move.
Doy is up. Well, here's the thing. Doy's not in the bottom right here, and you got Simley here to the inside of Macklin, I think. And you know what? I bet you I know what happened here. There are times where your spotter, again,
Using the gym for
iRacing
all the
spotters and
promos.
stuff like that. If you use iRacing spotter, crew chief, whatever, sometimes the connection gets to a point where Doy is so far down that he won't say Carlo.
But you have to know he's down there, right? You came off the corner. You were on his outside quarter. It's hard to say you lose track of him.
At the
I
same-
think what the gist was is that
Oh,
he
Campbell
was
got a hard
looking
part
to
of that.
see
Or
if
that
he-
was moment. Go ahead.
maybe he thought he was clear and looking to see if he can get down and he's going to make the run underneath Macklin, and just misjudged how far up Doy
Yeah.
was to his door.
Which at the same time, Doy's got to know you're going in shallow. You got to back off a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
but
how
then
do you make the turn down there, right?
I mean, there's so many factors there, though. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody for it. You're also got I'm thinking it's a 150 lap race. You got what 30 laps to go now. But that is a broken bottle of beer right there, boys.
Wow, that
Watch,
thing just
watch out,
disintegrated on impact.
watch out for glass.
That's probably one of the hardest hits, and unfortunately, he's going to catch. A couple cars. The 43 got dinged in that, but it's Jimmy Coleman that took the big pop there with the Transervice 54.
Let's
That's night ending for a couple of these guys.
this might hurt.
Yeah, this is going to hurt. See, he looks like he was
Bam!
going to go down under the 30 and just turn right.
So here's where I bring up was it last week in this race I brought up the road course deal. So let's look at it like this. I'm gonna hit pause right about. All right, so
You're on a mission.
look in the mirror. Who are you not seeing in the mirror right now?
That's all I was thinking of.
Right. Who's not in the mirror right now?
Yeah, not
You
there.
can't see
Nope.
Doy Woods.
But you came off of turn 4 and you know he was down there.
You still can't see Doy Woods. You're in the corner.
Yeah.
There's Doy Woods. So it's one of those where I don't know if I can blame anybody. That's ouch.
My guess is that sorry,
You're
my
fine.
ADD is kicked in. We're gonna take that street race to New York City. There's gotta be a race in New York somewhere. A race in the Bronx, they're gonna race in Queens, they're gonna race somewhere out there. And I like the comment that Aaron Thomas said. Take it to a proper dirt track.
Yes. Problem is, NASCAR's made Tony Stewart mad. At least people think. And so Eldora's off the table.
Yeah.
Which that's probably your best option. But here's what it comes down to. You got to look at everything around the race. A NASCAR race is going to bring a lot of people. So let's look at tracks. Eldora. You've got a 2-lane road going into a farmland and a racetrack in the middle of it. Now, let's picture 60, 70, 80,000 people coming down that 2-lane road.
Yeah. Of course.
There are a lot of different things that this is where I've had the argument go back to week 2 where they talked about what track replaces Auto Club. People talked about, well, why don't we do Kern County over in Bakersfield? Why don't we use Irwindale? Yes, LA's LA, and they've probably got the room or whatever. But now, can the track hold on to 60, 70, 80,000 fans coming to the race?
Yeah, I don't know. But as we look at 36 to go here, we got to give Pedro his due as he's got a tough competitor on the outside in E1. As they go back to green, everybody picks up the throttle. And like I said, right now you're in take no prisoners mode. So I don't think these guys are going to go in and get a set of tires unless there's a late caution. And I think they're going to charge this racetrack, seeing what they can get out of it.
Yeah, Mojica out there, Parker. Comstock up to third. Freshest tires now, Mike Montesi in ninth, which are only about 8-lap fresher tires at that. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Let's back it up a little bit. Bentley Glazier, 136. We've got tires everywhere. All right, here, let's do it like this. You want to know who's on what set of tires right now? Let me put up the pit board.
This is one of those
Good luck with
situations
those numbers.
where those veterans come through, right? You got somebody like Chad Coleman who knows how to pace himself in this style of races. He's up
Right.
there in the top 10. Certainly, Tyler knows what he's doing. Pedro is a champion of this type of thing, and you would expect the cream to rise to the crop. To
Mojica
the top
just.
for some of these guys.
I know what you meant. Mojica just ran the fastest lap, 24:08. Parker right there with him with a 13. Aaron, to answer your question there, Richmond can seat a lot more people than Eldora can. Single file back to...
Single file, yeah. I was
about
saying
12th.
the
Was
same.
the last time we said that.
Yeah, all the way back to 13th. There's a side-by-side battle there for Dalton, who's slipping back a little bit. And Glenn Campbell slips around to his outside. Every once in a while, somebody gets a run, gets down, peaks. We've not talked about the runs that you get in this car, which happen, and then you get to the corner, you're like, what do you do with this? Maybe it takes you to a lane you don't want to be in.
Right.
Gallon flew the lead up front.
Yep, Parker going to the front here inside. Oh, get tight on Mojica.
Talk about leaning on it, man. That's about as close as you get. They got Kevin DeBrown right there. 3 cars under a blanket.
Yep, David Comstock is there. Montesi's got the tires.
Put a little mustard on it, man. Pigs in a blanket, man. They're right on top of each other.
Oh!
Oh, excuse me. Gonna give you a little tap, tap, tap.
I don't
Let
know if
you
there was.
I'm here.
I don't know if there was contact there, but Mojica might have taken the nose off of Parker's car, and that might have caused it to push a little bit there. But Kevin DeBrown the second now.
Look who's sitting in 4th. What did I tell you?
Yeah. Look who's 6th. Look who's 7th.
Yep. What happened to Jutina? Let's see where he ends up. He's in 24th right now. Just wondered where Joey was because he had such a strong run out front. Wonder if his car's got a little damage.
It might, yeah. Unfortunately. And we're coming up on 25 to go, and I have no clue who's going to win this race. Usually by now, I've got a pretty good idea.
I mean, you just look at Pedro. He's been out front lap 3, lap, somewhere around 90 or so. He picked up the lead, and then he came back in after lap 115 and picked up the lead. So certainly Pedro's got a good horse tonight.
Pedro's looking really good. And this is the one series that's kind of hurt him this year, even though he's second in points, I think it was. If I'm so up the points real quickly for those who ain't seen it. He is second in points entering tonight's race, but yet no wins on the season. He's got all of his wins on the Grand National side, where he's over there dominating right now. You see Bentley Glazier starting to come into the field. Chad Coleman, Scott Stenzel back there in 9th.
There's something to be said, Chris, about the way that the 81 tagged his bumper, but he remains unflappable. He just drives off, hits his marks, smooth on the long run, takes care of his tires. There's just, what a yeoman's job that Pedro does. When he gets out front, his lap times are like robotic almost.
Here's the thing, though. Like, Parker's starting to fall off all of a sudden, so I'm going back here. Let's go on board with him here. Turn 4. This is the move he makes here. I want to see if there's contact or something.
Yeah, Parker's a charger.
All right,
no
there's
doubt.
the slide into the corner. Mojica's going to get the run here. There's no contact there. That's clean. Then they're going to come down to 3 and 4 here. Parker sends her into the bottom.
Trying to get to that clean air. I'm
Gets the
guessing.
good. He had a good corner there. He decided to get him right here. And it looks like they touched, but you can't
It
tell.
feels like he checked up just in time not to plug him.
But ever since then, Parker's back to the 7th position now. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the car is really wobbling up off the corner as I watch him out of turn 2 from our binoculars. The car is slipping and everybody just sliding back. He was in 7th at last go around. 8th place Chad Coleman just went around him. As we see a good charge coming right now for Bentley Glazer, and he's up to that 3rd position and trying to work his way to the outside of the 93 Kevin DeBrown for 2nd.
I'll let everybody guess who has the freshest tires right now up front. That would be Bentley.
He's up above in the flat spot at the top of the racetrack. So he's also conserving his tires.
That's the way
not
you're supposed to.
traveling the scene.
That's the way you're supposed to get around 3 and 4, up there. At least that's how I've always known Iowa. But Bentley Glazer,
7th, he goes to 2nd with no problem, and now he's tracking down. We'll see if he can run down with 21 to go, the 58 out front.
Bentley Glazer trying to look like Bentley Warren out there. For those who don't know, Bentley Warren, famous modified driver from back in the 70s and 80s.
Oswego Speedway, baby. That guy was astonishing to watch there. It was like fighter jets inside of a stadium. Watching that racetrack.
I listened to his interview.
Biggest racetrack I've ever been to.
I listened to his interview on the download with Junior last year, and I was just like, man, this guy earned my respect, and I've hardly ever heard of him.
Don't know why he didn't make it full-fledged to like Roger Muir's status and Indy type thing, but to watch him race at Oswego, he and Joe Gosick put on a show in the one we went to there, and what an incredible racetrack. The speed there rivals what we saw at Flemington Speedway when they turned it to
But
asphalt.
didn't he always get hurt? I think it was. He always had injuries and stuff. 'Cause I know he made a couple 500 starts, if I remember correctly.
Well, anybody that rode those cars was riding on the edge because it was basically a crude Indy car racing on a short. It was incredible what those guys did in the supers up there at New York State.
As Glazer goes to the lead, and as mentioned in chat, Doy Woods is going full.
He's on
Davey
the
Allison coming to the field, up to 3rd, 17 to go. And you mentioned Oswego a little bit ago. I've watched a few races on Flow there, but it's one track I didn't get a chance to go to, and I think I've shared this before on here. I almost, and I say almost, went back to broadcasting school at SUNY Oswego.
Been there. Went to check that place out. SUNY.
Oh, good. Well, there's SUNYs everywhere.
SUNY. Yeah.
State
Just a-
University of New York.
I'll tell you the thing that I remember about being there is I was underage, probably 17 or so, and it was snowing the whole time we were there. And my aunt, who's a native New Yorker, handed over a flask. I remember taking a shot and burning all the way down, but feeling kind of warm.
Well, there's other things you could do that might be a little more disgusting, I guess. But hey.
Yep. Listen, it's sterile. You know.
Montesi battling with Comstock here. This is the 5th position. Brian Macklin there behind him. Justin Mons up to the 8th position. Robert Frary back up to the top 10. I'll take this one for you.
Don't jinx them. Come on. 18 laps, fresher tires, and look at the differences. Doy Woods and Bentley Glazer drive away from Pedro Mojica, who
Oh,
love
Joe
to
Hudson
see
just
his
spun
caution
off
run.
of Joe Hudson just spun off too. Was minding his own business there, just trying to let everybody go, and I think he got on the apron.
We haven't talked about that. When you're slow or off the pace, it's one of those things. It's hard to run alternative grooves at this racetrack and not spin yourself out.
Well, you know what the trickier thing is? It's not just that. It's running a different pace than what you're used to. Because when you get into a rhythm out there on the track and all of a sudden you have to
Agreed.
change your pace, it gets affected. That's where you hear sometimes in a race, somebody, oh, you got a 5-second lead, back it down a little bit. You know how hard that is?
Yeah, complicated. We're going to have a battle for the lead here as Doy Woods has driven up to the back bumper. He's sideways coming up off the corner. He's putting the wood to it coming out to the backstretch, trying to see if he can chase Bentley Glazer down. Bentley got slowed up a little bit by cars that were slower in front of him, but these two are almost nose to tail coming off 4 here with 12 laps to go. It's go time for these guys, and I don't think Doy Woods sees checkered flag in it windshield.
Boy, it goes right up to about the farthest up you can really go with this track in 1 and 2. But then again, I say that, and I saw...
a dozen races this year, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I say that, and of course, a couple cars went up to the top there in 1 and 2. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, I see him running that top groove, and that's about where you can go. You can even go higher if you wanted to. But you might eat up the tires a little bit more going up there as they come up on Stony Benfield here.
Yeah, typically you see cars with worn tires do not run well down on the bottom. They just don't hold down there. And yellow
caution.
flag. I was going to say it, but I was very careful.
Jeff Ryan has parked it on the
straight.
front straightaway here in the 3 car, unfortunately. Don't know.
What happened there? This is where they say as everything changes everything.
I think Jeff, I don't know if he let off the brake or whatever, went to roll down the track, and Justin Mons clobbered him.
That's what happened to me the other night. Hold the brake. It's like sim racing 101. Wait till the entire field goes by.
I mean, I don't want to say he let off the brake there, but that's almost what it appears happened. If you are a rookie in racing, right here, let the field go by.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, you come off the corner, you see the car stopped up there, you're like, okay. Number 1 rule, don't let the brake start rolling, and then all of a sudden it got...
Unless there's something here that... Let me back this up a little more. Okay, no, Jeff gets loose on his own. Never mind.
He got loose on his own.
So I was about to say, was there something with the 49, but...
He went down and caught the apron in the reverse azimuth of that car. Tried to make something up to make it sound better because he just flat out lost it coming out before. He got into a yaw, he got down on the apron, and then whoop! Wasn't that bad up until that point. He just kind of dinked the fence when he nosed it in, but he took a pretty good whack. I wonder if he broke the right front wheel when he backed in. Let's see where he gets hit here. Yeah, he got hit on the back of the body, fortunately. If he got hit on the wheel, he could have broken a toe link.
I have a feeling that we are going to be hearing from Mr. Mons in about a minute or so in chat.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. You know, it sounds like we're being critical. Been there and done that. All of us.
We've all done it. Oh,
That,
absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
you know, there's just times where you're got your mindset like, I need to get back in. I'm gonna get my car fixed. I got one more set of tires. Maybe this will work out okay. Let's see what kind of finish I can salvage. And don't let the car roll down the track.
We're just,
you know,
we're here calling the race like we see it. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's our job. That's what.
But when you're in the car and you're driving and you're the crew chief and you're trying to calculate strategy and do I have another set of tires or whatever, there's 85 computations going on in your brain. So, you know, it's not unusual to just kind of lose track of something.
I'm sorry.
It's not unusual. Yeah.
You're going to get my stream muted.
What a great singer that guy is. But I digress.
Yeah, I was
So
about to
where
bust-
does this go here, right? We look at drivers who have, 34 laps on his tires? What's he going to do here?
Well, put it like this. You've now got 10th on down has come to pit road for tires. So basically, you now have...
With 6 to go, we're going to get to a green-white checker too, right? We're going to go green before we get to the first GWC.
Yeah. We'll get a green flag here. But right now, you're looking at Bentley Glazier, Doy Woods, Brian Macklin, Montesi, Glenn Campbell, Coleman, Kevin Stone, Gerald Livingston, Jose Medina. Those 9 cars must not have tires left because they have stayed out here. Your first car
in the worst position is Medina, right? Because they're going to run all over him.
You never want to be the first car.
Never.
without tires. So Pedro Mojica is 10th. He's the first with tires. Kevin DeBrown, David Comstock, Josh Parker, Chad Coleman, E.J. O'Rourke, Stenzel, Beasley, Kelly, Van Schaik, and I'm sorry that you didn't see the pit stops here to everyone there. It's obviously showing the replay and stuff. Tyler Dalton, Doug Roth, Robert Frary, Wesley Donaldson, 24th. All those guys have 4 feel goods. I'm going to explain every scenario real quickly here. If this race goes green, somehow, the guys in the 10th on back are probably going to get to the front. If they get a caution really quickly in this race, these guys up front have a shot. Don't spin the tires, the first rule. And as everyone knows, when you spin the tires, which way you go? To the right. All right, I would have lost the bet. It took like 4 minutes for Mon to show up.
Yeah, said unreal. That's the comment from the pit box.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, here we go. Coming back to the green.
But the question is, who's going to win, right? Call it out, folks. Call it out. Pick your winner right now before turn 1.
Oh, they're already trying to stack up 5 wide back here. They're 4. Now they're 5. Here goes Pedro. Here comes Comstock. There's an avalanche back behind 6th. Kevin DeBrown versus Mojica. They're splitting cars like. Now they're wrecking.
There it goes.
Parker. Nobody's. Now they're
Parker,
spinning.
yeah,
There's
you
your
go.
big wreck. Josh Parker. Tyler Dalton gets a piece of it. The 43. Bink.
Pink. He just pitted for tires too, Jeff Ron.
That
Yeah,
literally.
there you go. See Randy Yoakum down there on the racetrack.
That literally looked through. That looked like the scene from Bullet.
I'm going to point at a personal comfort number 41. Something to do with that.
Oh no.
On the entry to turn number 3, just charged down there, got the quarter panel off Josh Parker.
Oh no.
I don't want to say cleaned him out, but had a little something to do with that.
Let's see the replay. Oh,
Just
who was that
hard
back there?
racing. Don't get me wrong.
Who spun off turn 2?
I wait. In all fairness to that, Parker got maybe into the number 17 of Kevin Stone, going into the corner, and was taking evasive action there. That's just a matter of everybody trying to steal the same racetrack.
One car, Livingston goes up the track, another one goes spinning off 2. Didn't see who that was. Trying to forgive me for a second here. Ah, the 24. So Medina goes around off 2.
Gotta say though,
You know what though?
Parker
Parker made a late move there too.
He did, yes.
So,
That's what I said. I'm trying
Yeah.
not to be critical of it. I'm just trying to call what precipitated that, and the 41 and the 81 came together, which resulted in pinball over there in turn 3 and 4. But how about the run for Bentley Glazer to come out, pick up the lead on this late race run?
Oh, Beasley got in the back of the 26, it looks like, or 24. That's just a matter of everybody going for the same piece of real estate.
Yeah, I think the 81 was trying to shoot the gap,
Wow.
and 41 had already committed to the entry of the corner, and 8 ball in the corner pocket. See down there on the bottom.
Check out this view right here.
43.
Tyler Dalton.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, whoa.
Split!
Oh, holy cow. As animated as Tyler is on the radio, that you in the channel.
Man, this is
3
crazy.
to go.
All right,
3
so
to go.
here comes your Sim500 overtime.
Kevin DeBrown again. Best tires. 40, 40, 50, 38. Now 9 as they cross the line. And Kevin's sitting in 5th right now. His car is going to cut. It's going to turn. It's going to dig up off the corner. Could Kevin DeBrown sneak away and get a win here?
You know what? The car that might be in the best position right now is David Comstock. I say this because Kevin DeBrown, Pedro Mojica are going to start on the inside here. You've got David Comstock is going to be the first car on the newer tires in the outside lane.
Doing the Larry McReynolds Hassad.
Hassad.
He made a move on the Hassad.
This is the second. What do you mean by that, Jason? Like if he said the second to final race, I'm like, nah, we got plenty of racing to go over here.
Is he trying to say we're coming back here?
Let
me look at this. Get Schwul.
I don't think we're
Yeah,
coming
sir. Yeah, 36 race on November 27th. Coming back here one
to
more
Iowa.
time.
Okay.
For the good times.
Oh, I see what he's saying. The second to oh, I get it. Okay, he's saying on
Yeah.
the schedule. I didn't realize he meant at the end of the season. Oh
One
yeah.
more time for the good times.
Okay, I thought for a second I'm like, wait a minute, we're at the end of the season already. I misread Mr. Atomic Burrito. Which, by the way, thank you, Mose, for the fruit burrito I got for my birthday on Saturday. I don't want any recognition. It's okay.
Oh,
Just throwing it out there.
I sent you a little there.
You
Glazer,
did. I do remember.
Woods,
Thank you.
Macklin, Montesi, Kevin Brown, Glenn Campbell, Pedro Mojica, David Comstock, Jimmy Coleman, and Chad Coleman are your top 10 as the pace car turns left. And the $1 million question is, do they come back to the line that way?
They're 3 wide already. Now they're 4 wide into turn 1.
Look at that 93 dig on the bottom. He's got himself to second.
Oh, hold on back there. Is that Macklin that got loose?
Sideways. No yellow yet. Here he comes for the lead. Kevin DeBrown. He's going to dig off until he's got it.
Wow.
Holy cow, what a drive.
Gonna get the white flag. Final lap as Mojica's right there. Doy Woods up to 3rd. And a scramble back there for 4th on back. All right, I was wrong about the Comstock comment. Kevin DeBrown as Mojica sends it into 3 and 4. Can he get the run off the corner? Tries to pull a Chastain, and it will not be enough. Kevin DeBrown wins Iowa. And they're wrecking.
How about that? Boy, that shows you the power of strategy and tires. Not to take away any credit from Kevin. He had to drive the car and get it, but boy, a lot of people are going to be very envious of there.
Kevin DeBrown runs the fastest lap of the race at the win. Mojica ends up 2nd. Comstock ends up 3rd. Chad Coleman, and look who's 5th.
That's a little respect there for
EJ O'Rourke is 5th.
EJ. Could you imagine?
Holy crap. Oh, this is going to be an interesting post-race show. You feel terrible for Bentley. You end up 9th. I mean, he got eaten up by the Wolves there. I was wrong. I will admit I was wrong. I thought the outside line would be where you want to be on the restart, but Kevin and them timed it out on that start.
His run off of turn 2 on that final monument. I mean, the car just came. We talked about grip and being able to dig, and you know, he's got plenty of tires to write his name here on the front stretch of Iowa. Congratulations to him, man. He's well deserved on the strategy play there.
He can't even put the D in the period in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the restart here. That's the white flag lap, genius.
Tell you, look who was coming as the 28. What a run he had. A couple more laps, and this would have been a different story.
Oh, look at that. Okay. So, first things first, Bentley Glazier took the outside lane here.
On the restart.
I didn't catch that. Glazier took the outside lane. Doy's on the inside, and he literally drops to the bottom here. And it opens the door.
That's the winning move right there, where you see the 93 down and hug that yellow line. Car was like a fighter jet up off the corner. It just dug off of this corner, and he even got to the point where he got to 2nd, and then there was no turning back. With turn into this corner.
Oh, and then Bentley gets loose there. That killed him there. Montesi gets knocked up the track.
How about you run all those laps, 180 laps, and you get to the point at the end where you're like trying to do your kamikaze best to not crash the car, but get the best finish you can with whatever you got under. They did a really good job coming back to the line. Dalton got spun, but he crossed the line and picked up the best position he could.
Whew. All right.
The question lies with Mojica. Did he have any tires? Could he have done a different strategy? He can't be disappointed with second, given
no.
all that went on. But I know he would rather have it.
That's the way she wrote when it's all with. The way the cookie crumbles, I guess would be another way to put it.
How about third place? Who do you think?
David Comstock.
Yep.
Finishes third, and we're going to talk to him right now, of course, as you see the finishing order at the top of your screen unofficially. Donaldson 11th. How about Van Schaik finishes 12th?
Yeah, good on Charles. Good finish.
Randy Oakham 14th. Wow. All right.
Yep, Beasley backed up his top 10. Got himself a 6th place finish here tonight. So good on Richard.
As let's bring David up here. David, third place finish for you. We went to a race and something wild broke out.
Yeah, who'd have thought in the middle of a cornfield that would happen?
Yeah, right. I guess as they say in dirt, it went western.
Yeah, yeah, it was wild finish at the end there. I mean, we had a couple pretty decent runs. Initial start was good, and then I don't know, it was just caution after caution after caution. So didn't really get many green flag runs. Just tire strategy. It was just we knew we needed to have at least one save in the bank for that late yellow that we anticipated on, and it happened. So we played our cards how we wanted to, and luckily it all landed out how we needed to be. Because otherwise, I barely would have got a top 10 of them for that.
That's how you do it. And we talked about a little bit on the broadcast that I'd rather have that set of tires sitting there, and that's exactly how it rolled out for a lot of your team name guys there, as I see pretty much all of them up there at the top. But the racing itself, I mean, when we were under green flag racing, we just saw some phenomenal racing from the bottom all the way to the top of the track.
Yeah, it definitely always. Iowa's really good about just having such a multi-groove option for everybody, except for really 1 and 2. You can't get too far up there; it's way too bumpy for especially these cars. But yeah, especially 3 and 4, you can run about anywhere from to the fence to the yellow line down there. So it definitely puts on really good racing. Just the way that this setup and this car and how it reacts to the way that everything is for this track. It's a little on edge after about like 10-15 laps. You really start sliding around if you overdrove your stuff. So it's just babying it around a little bit, just kind of just racing the racetrack type situation, and almost spun out a couple of times, but we kept it straight.
I think the whole field almost spun out a couple times. But, man, great job tonight. Fantastic racing, obviously, for you. And Kevin here kind of pretty much was watching you all night, because he's like, watch Comstock. He's going to sneak up in here and get himself a top 5 when it's over with. And credit to him, got you up to third. So congrats, and shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Appreciate Sim500, all the admins for putting on our series and our leagues throughout the week. Thanks to NC811.org for sponsoring our Cup Series here Monday nights. And thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to all my teammates at Team Name. Congrats to Kevin on the win. Solid performance by all our guys. We just keep knocking out really good finishes lately. So our team's on a good stride, and proud of the efforts everybody's doing, and appreciate Monster Energy.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight. Great top 3, and go enjoy. I'm sure it's going to be a fun session to watch for about the next 2 hours for you guys. Go enjoy that. And
Kevin's going to break out the Bud Light cooler.
No comment.
Thanks, guys.
Well done, David Comstock.
That's
that's one of those where, well, I'm not getting into the political side of things here. Let's just, we'll continue on. Yeah, for those who don't know the whole story, go read it on the internet. I'm sure you'll see it, but I don't know much about it myself. But guess what's in my refrigerator right now? Anyways, Pedro Mojica finishes second, and Kev will let you talk to him as soon as I go get him. Yeah, right.
Pedro!
Oh, there he is.
Pedro. Pedro tonight is a moment of woulda, coulda, shoulda, but what an incredible run on. Facing adversity. Tell us about this Iowa track. It's like you guys had your hand full all night long.
Yeah, Kevin, it was a handful. I don't know what it's up with this setup, but no matter what, it seemed like it'd just get loose after about 10, 15 laps. So it was really important to save your tires, especially your rear tires. So that was a really big part of the race. Unfortunately, that was my strongest suit. I don't really think anybody had anything for me. Maybe David, because David's kind of doing the same thing I was doing, but everybody else was struggling about after 15, 20 laps on tires. But with that, you get all the yellows that we had tonight, which was unfortunate, and it just comes down to luck of the draw, which seems to be, I always draw the short end of the stick when it comes to trying to win a race. I guess I don't know what I can do any better. Just and honestly, it came down the second to last restart. I was on the insider initially, like I had hoped, and then Joey pitted, and that put me on the outside, and I was practically pinned, and had nowhere to go. So that's how I lost that track position to Kevin. Just kind of getting pinned in there, and after that, it was just like I feel like I say this every week, but after that, it was just slot cars because short run, this car, everyone's on the same tires, whatnot. So just kind of just there. But anyways, it was a good run. Again, hope says you keep doing this. Maybe all the luck will come to us at the end of the year. That's all that really matters anyway. So
Gotta say to you, I know how badly you want to win, but I'm going to tell you a little something here that should make you smile coming out of here. Las Vegas, third. Rockingham, third. Daytona, second. Auto Club, second. Atlanta, second. Iowa tonight, second. Out of the number of races we've had, how could you do any better than that? Could you imagine at the onset of the season that you would have finished podium in all those races to start off? And a win's got to be right around it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, you know how racing is. There's skill, and then there's also a little bit of luck. And over the winter series, I'd say I had a lot of luck that went my way in order to win both championships in the wintertime. So I'm hoping that I'm paying my dues right now, which, finishing second and third is not bad. So we'll see. I mean, I had a couple bad races there. I got wrecked out in 2 races. But it is a little frustrating because, honestly, all those races that I, finished second or third, other than Rockingham, I could have won. Honestly, it's just, again, it just came down to circumstances which prevented me from winning those races. But I think most of those races I probably led the most laps, if not close to the most laps, and been up front all the time. It's just unfortunate. It's part of racing. And just like I said, this cup car, at the end of these races, if there's a late yellow, it just becomes slot cars at that moment. So, but hey, like you said, I mean, it's good to run good. It is a little disappointing because I think I should have 4 or 5 wins by now. But, like you said, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But hey, man, we'll take it. We'll take second. Another race with all the team name guys. We all did pretty good there at the end of the race. We all had our own struggles, but we were able to peak at the end of the race and do pretty well.
Well, second place finish at a racetrack. We'll come back later in. That's a good way to start the season off. Give you a moment to give shout outs, Pedro, to anybody you want to do. You're getting pretty good at this.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. That's good for sponsors. So yeah, on that, I'd like to thank Trans Service and Glenn Campbell for jumping on board, representing him and his brand well, both in Sunday and Monday. So glad to be making Glenn's money worth it. Appreciate you guys on the broadcast, Captain Esport. Appreciate what you guys do. Hopefully put some excitement there for you. All the admins at Sim500, appreciate them, what they do. the NC811, Call Before You Dig guys. I appreciate them for sponsoring this series and Sunday and everything they do for the league. Appreciate what they do. All the guys on Team Name, appreciate them. Have a lot of fun racing with them. Never a dull moment in that in that channel. And then congrats to Kevin. Talk about a lot of that luck in the winter series. That a lot of that came to Kevin's bad luck. So it's good to see Kevin get a win. He's a good guy, man. He races really hard, races clean. I've never had issues with him or anything, and he's good. He's a good little racer. So don't ever turn your head on him. I know he's had some bad luck here and there, but if he can get some of that bad luck off of his shoulders and string together a couple good runs, he can be a threat later in the year. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my family for everything they do and let me come and hang out for a little bit tonight.
There you go, Pedro. Go enjoy that second place finish, and I know that win. Thanks for taking the
I think we lost Kevin there for a second, but no, great job, Pedro. Or maybe they lost me. I don't know.
No, we lost Pedro.
We lost Pedro. I'm like, who's lost? I don't know, but we're losing everything all of a sudden.
All we're
here.
missing is the other Kevin, not this one. This
other...
one's counted for there, but there's the other one.
You mean Kevin? As they say in Home Alone. But Kevin DeBrown, man, welcome to Victory Lane here in a very wild race at Iowa from 15th to 1st. The tire strategy worked out for you, and that restart was money.
Oh yeah, definitely. Both those two last restarts were honestly the best I could have done. I don't think I could have done that any better. I was listening to Pedro's interview, and we was gonna get stuck on the bottom if Joey didn't pit, and then Joey pitted, and I got stuck on the bottom, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna make time up here on the bottom. And like I said, I don't think I could have timed that any better.
Yeah, talk about the race, because it had a very helter-skelter look, if you will, with just the strategy and how you had to sacrifice all the track positions so many times and try not to get in trouble and just to put yourself in the right spot.
Yeah, I think we only had 3 sets tonight, and it's like when you use them,
Right.
The first time we used it, I think we used it on lap 36. We were like one of the first ones, and I'm surprised it worked out, because honestly I thought it was a little bit too early, but I spun out a little bit and ended up saving it, so I decided, why not pit at 36, and like I said, it ended up working out with all those cautions, and hopefully in the future there'll be more sets, that way we don't have to play all this strategy.
You got it, fine. That's perfect. Great racing.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you did a great job. I say that because I'm a fan of the less tires, and you got to strategize. You got to think a little bit while you're racing. But no, great job on your part. Obviously, I know it's a big win to have in this series. Obviously, on the Cup side of things, I know you've had kind of some up and down luck. As I look at the standings, you now are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th winner, 5th winner. I'm looking at the duel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th winner in 7 races so far this season.
That's good. I think we should have had 2 coming from Las Vegas, but Doy really beat us on that one. But
well, you got your revenge. You got to pass Doy here tonight. But
right.
So what's your feeling of having this be the first of 3 straight short tracks? And oh, by the way, all 3 get smaller.
Bristol, it's gonna be interesting with that track. I don't know how that's gonna go, and usually we do good at Bristol. Martinsville, though, it's gonna be probably hellacious. It's just oh,
come on now. Well, great job tonight. Let's celebrate an Iowa victory. Go have some corn or something, and send a shout to whoever you like to.
Yeah, of course. Chris Caboose painting the beautiful paint scheme. Racing Pride coming on this season and future seasons. Speaking of which, Chad told me to go share a Bud Light with him, so I think I'll end up doing that. And the guys at Team Name, they like to crack jokes, but they're all good guys, and I appreciate racing with every one of them. They're always fun to race with, and you guys putting on the beautiful broadcast. I can't wait to watch it.
Absolutely. Should be a lot of fun. I only chuckle and have that nervous chuckle because I'm like, okay, here come the social media people after my channel. So, anyways, man, great job tonight, and go celebrate.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Kevin DeBrown with the win tonight. And yeah, he goes and celebrates with his team name guys. And Kevin, man, what a race it was. And had its yellows, had its wrecks, but as one guy once said in a very sarcastic, weird face, that's your track racing.
What?
I was doing my best Denny Hamlin in
that's
Martinsville.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The bucktooth one.
Yeah, right.
I have to say, if there's one word I could pick, it's eventful. I did not, what do I know? I thought for sure watching practice that this type of racetrack with all the different groups and so on, that it would be kind of, I thought it was going to go green all the way. I'm wrong. Very interesting, complex surface tonight, and it certainly showed that they had their work cut out for them.
Well, obviously, it was a lot of fun. They had their work cut out, and it's going to continue now the next couple of weeks. Again, we go to Bristol next week, Martinsville the following week. This is going to be a fun couple of weeks here on short track, so looking forward to all that. So, Kev, appreciate your time, man. We'll do it again next Monday night.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd imagine that next time we come back here, they'll make a little tweak to the temperature to get a little more grip in the racetrack, so it's not so white knuckle for these guys, but it'll be a blast when we come back for sure.
Who needs grip? Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I dial it back, man. Let them hang on for dear life. That makes it fun for us to watch.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, great job. Appreciate you joining us tonight, man.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Big shout out to 811, of course, North Carolina, 811.org. You can get information there. And, of course, if you're anywhere in the United States watching this tonight, make sure you call 811 before you dig. And always be aware if you're out there in the severe weather areas. If you see a power line down, don't be, that person that goes and grabs it or whatever. Just leave it alone. Let it do its thing and let the people come out that know what they're doing to take care of things. So appreciate what those guys do for us and what 811 does for the series. Big shout out to Joey for allowing us to be a part of the broadcast, to the viewers for joining us tonight through our karaoke sessions and other stuff we talked about this evening. And big shout out to Kevin, of course, as always. And remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be